Hi there. Is this your first trip to the dentist? You a little scared? No? Good. Give me 5.
Dr. Alan Finestone is a renowned dentist who's got it all. Dr. Finestone's gone over the edge.
When I tell you to do something, you do it.
But behind the success is a man who's feeling the pressure.
I got a feeling he's gonna be real good for this town.
The motel guy said the only dentist in town was dead.
Control. Things are under control. Everything is under control.
What's wrong?
No toothache.
May I look at it?
Is it gonna hurt?
Shouldn't.
This is my life. I am not a monster.
He's your worst nightmare.
What do you know about me? On the threshold of a new, patient-friendly era of dentistry. Now I'm gonna get you a new smile.
You'd be surprised how people neglect their teeth.
Open wide, Jamie!
You got real patch. Open wide.
We've got here is a seriously well-trained man over the edge.
Kay is always busy, so we're always busy.
I am not crazy.
There now. Better?
Killing is liberating.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 261 of the Triple Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast is coming at you live and direct with my hetero life mate, JP, also known as the Mexican. We got the pretentious Mr. Saucedo, also known as Tyler. And back in the house, we have the Freemason and Creepy Carly. And I be your host, the MOOD to the Z, representing PGBC. Y'all know me, Moodz. Yeah. What's going on, my peeps? Yeah.
Yo.
Oh. Sports.
Sports. It's just been hard to focus on movies, hasn't it been, Tyler? Man.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, there's just so much going on. I mean, like this new format in the NHL with the playoffs is ridiculous because these first rounds are just, they shouldn't be in the first round.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's entertaining anyways, but yeah.
And plus, like, I even been watching a little of the NBA playoffs too. It's like, just, there's a lot of sports right now.
It's like fucking overload, man. I watched like 3 or 4 games yesterday. Then I watched the fights later on and oh my God.
Did you watch Knuckle fucking Mania? Do you watch Bare Knuckle at all?
I did not watch Knuckle Mania, but I heard it was wild.
It was fucking wild. And then like Conor McGregor announced that he's an owner of it now. And dude, it was wild. This one guy, Lorenzo Hunt, he got. He
was trying to win the 3rd title, right? He went up to heavyweight.
Yeah, so he got knocked down, right, from a punch. But he dislocated his fucking shoulder and it looked fucking nasty. It was wild.
That's what I heard.
So many injuries last night.
So are we what is this? Is this actual bare knuckle fighting?
Yeah. It's been around for a little while. A lot of ex-UFC fighters fight there. Like Mike Perry is kind of like the big deal over there right now.
Mike Perry's one of my favorite fucking fighters, and it's just been inspiring to see how much he's found success in this new promotion. This fits him great, and there's a lot.
You can like punch people in the face, right? Yep. Yeah, it's literally fighting, but without.
You're wearing hand wraps and shit.
So it's not MMA; it's just literally fighting.
Boxing.
This one is boxing. Okay. There is, I think, George Masvidal's league is bare knuckle MMA.
Right. Yep.
Wow. You know in Canada what we call that?
What's
fighting?
Hockey.
Nice. That's dope.
It's fucking true though.
I've watched a few of those bare knuckle events. The only thing about them, Mason, is like, dude, sometimes they're so brutal that like I feel bad and I feel like gross watching them.
It just
like, remember the Adam Lobov versus Jason Knight fights?
Oh my god, that was one of the best fights I ever saw.
I literally felt like a piece of garbage after watching that. I was like, dude, this is what they meant when they were saying human cock.
Man, if that's just making you feel gross and filthy from watching, I gotta check this out, man. That sounds right up my alley. That's amazing.
Well, they're getting bigger and like they're getting now that Connor is involved. I mean, I feel like it's growing. I feel like it's been growing, but I feel like it's becoming a big deal.
So is he like retired from UFC now or what?
No, he's fighting Dustin in June, I think. Right?
Michael Chandler.
Or sorry, Michael Chandler in June.
Oh, right. I completely forgot about that.
302, I think. UFC 302 or 3.
Yeah, there's just so many fucking fights. I just always forget like who's coming up and shit. There's so many fucking names, but yeah, I completely forgot about that fight for sure. But yeah, he hasn't fought in a while, so kind of forgot about him. But
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
did you guys watch the Roadhouse movie?
The what?
The new Roadhouse movie with Conor McGregor and Jake.
Oh no, I did not watch
that. Not really. Not really interested.
I heard people saying it was actually pretty good.
Really?
No, I mean, you get it's really stupid, and the CGI fights are kind of whack. But I mean,
what?
I don't know if you've been drinking.
CGI fights? That's fucking ridiculous, dude.
It kind of pissed me off, but Conor McGregor was kind of fun. But I don't know, it's worth a watch. But
yeah, I think I overheard someone at work talking about it, and they're like, "Oh, it was pretty good." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" I kind of like got my attention. I was like, "What the?" I'm like, I have no interest in that at all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, yeah, I was just flipping around here on Bloody Disgusting, and it's one of the headlines was 8 new horror movies releasing this week, including Spider Nightmare and Infested. But I was like scrolling down, and this caught my attention. It was like, fuck, I don't know how many kids Cronenberg fucking has, but it's like the daughter of master horror David Cronenberg, Caitlyn Cronenberg, is making her own mark in the genre filmmaking space with Humane. And it's opening in theaters April 26th.
Kind of interesting, but Jeremy said that it wasn't very. It was just okay.
I was like, damn, he's got a lot of kids making fucking movies.
Yeah, we previewed that one. On the
did we say it was by Caitlyn Cronenberg? I can't remember if we talked about.
That sounds vaguely familiar. So
right, because Jay Baruchel's in the film too. Okay, now I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jay Baruchel, Canadian representing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. But
Peter Gallagher's in this too. That's cool.
So these new Evil Dead movies that are coming out, are they just going to be like their own kind of stories, or are they like linked to this like new remake that kind of came out because it's kind of its own thing, but in theory kind of still a remake? Do you know like what they're going to do with these?
What?
I feel like they're supposed to be their original thing, but
what is it?
Well, they announced
they're going to do more Evil Dead.
So there's 2 more Evil Dead movies coming out, but so I'm wondering, like, because the last one that came out, Evil Dead Rise, was like, I mean, in theory, was pretty much like a remake, right? It's just in a different setting and shit like that. It's kind of its own thing. It's like its own entity kind of thing. But these new ones, I don't think they're going to be sequels to that movie. I think they're going to be like their own kind of vision.
Different setting, probably.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like, I just hope they don't do the exact same thing, like, release the demons through like vinyl again or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I just found it quite interesting that they're releasing 2 more. And the specs were pretty vague on it, but I was like, damn, this Evil Dead shit's going on. But it did say like, actually it's pretty vague. It's honestly really vague about what they're doing with these things. So I don't know. I don't really know how to take this, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed the last one, so I'm totally down.
Honestly, I need to rewatch it because I did not care for it too much. I love the setting. It reminded me of Demons 2, like in the hotel, or in the apartment complex. And I like the whole idea of not using 2-inch tape to release the demons. It was done by vinyl this time, which is, they modernized it, I guess, kind of with a throwback with modern vinyl, whatever you want to call it. But I like that whole aspect and stuff. There was just certain things in the film that I wasn't really loving, but I do need to rewatch it though. So, but yeah, I thought maybe somebody had some information on these new ones, because I was just like, wow, they they're pumping out these Evil Dead movies.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think they just announced it too. It's crazy, but yeah, it's pretty.
Jeremy told me that there's a hornet in here. That Don Mancini said that he was going to make another Child's Play movie.
Oh shit!
Really?
And that's going to be a direct sequel to the last one, right? Like Cult?
I assume even the TV show, because like the TV show is like canon.
Yeah, it is actually. You know what? Honestly, dude, like, did anybody actually watch a Child's Play? I guess they're into season 3 now.
I don't really watch shows in general.
I watched
honestly.
like 3 episodes of the first season, and I liked it, but I'm like weird where I wait for a show to be over before I start watching it.
I usually do the exact same thing, but like knowing it was canon, it was like in the universe and stuff. I was like, you know what, man, I thought Cult was pretty cool. I'll check out the TV series because it's kind of like, you know, directly linked to it and stuff. And I thought the first season was okay. It's like the episodes for me are hit and miss. I honestly really don't like the lead actor or the lead character in Child's Play. It just fucking bugs me, man. He's just fucking. And then the second season was like even more hit and miss. Some of the episodes were so fucking boring. And like they would go off track because they would just, you know, it's kind of like The Walking Dead where they would have like an episode about certain characters and then they go back to these characters and they would just, you know, it was like all over the place kind of thing, right? I could not. I thought season 2 was actually pretty terrible, so I just kind of deleted my future recordings for season 3 because I'm done with it. It's like I can't get into any of these series. Remember I tried the Scream one? I couldn't get into more than 2 episodes of season 2. I just can't fucking do these things, man. None of them work out for me. I don't know, but
yeah. So speaking of Evil Dead, I did get a chance to watch Evil Dead in the theater with a live commentary by 2 of the girls, Cheryl and forget the other one's name, and Scotty. And I actually went by myself because Carly was busy drinking.
Well, that's a good enough excuse.
I wanted to do karaoke. That's all.
Oh yeah, she wanted to go do karaoke.
Oh, karaoke! Oh lordy!
While drinking.
Yeah, I mean that's really the only way you can do
Wasteland this year, guys. Come on.
I mean, you can't do karaoke sober. It's not. I don't think it was invented for sober drinkers because, like, it's the only way it sounds good. If everyone's drinking on the same page, it sounds amazing. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. Everyone's Whitney Houston out there. Everyone's fucking.
I've done quite a bit of karaoke back in my day.
Yeah, hitting these new octanes that no one's ever hit in the world.
But it was really fucking cool. Like the girls were super funny. There was like watching it on that giant ass screen, dude. Yeah. And I've seen Evil Dead at the drive-in before, but just seeing it in the theater, like on the big screen and like the right mood and stuff,
How did it
made
look?
me like, dude, great.
Was it a print? Was it a film print?
No, it was actually not a film print. It was just like the 4K.
They screened the 4K. Okay, yeah.
But I will say, like, just seeing it on like that giant of a screen and like in the right mood, like we always talk about like the camera work and like the cool stuff that like Sam Raimi did, like the innovative shit, but like there is like actually way more than even I remember like noticing before. Like this, watching it this time, I fully like took in like every shot, and it was just like, it was amazing. I was like, dude, this is definitely one of the best horror films ever made.
Yeah, there's this like one scene that really caught me this time that never had the last time I watched it. Like right when Ash's sister like busts through the door the first time, and the camera like does this really crazy thing where it like gets in close and shaky and just tracks around all of them while they're arguing. It's like something I never noticed before, but it's so clean and like so like mood inducing.
Yeah. There's like, I mean, it's just, I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said before, but it was very impressive this time watching it and like really like seeing the whole picture in a way that I hadn't before, just really focused. And just seeing every detail was really cool. And me and Carly watched Texas Chainsaw 2 with Bill Moseley doing the commentary, and he said about like 4 things the entire commentary. It was so weird.
It was him and that. What was his name? Tom. What's that guy's name? Tom Morg. I think it's the guy that played Leatherface or whatever. And they both I don't think that guy said anything.
Yeah,
I met him last year. Actually, that guy. I got a picture with him. He was pretty quiet.
Yeah,
yeah,
so. Yeah. He didn't say
both,
anything.
Yeah, they're both.
I was actually surprised.
People,
I was surprised Bill Moseley didn't talk much. Like I feel like he just got caught up watching the movie. Sometimes that happens. I felt like
he was into it.
Yeah.
Well, when I met, I always forget that guy's the actor that played Leatherface in Part 2. But when I met him, I said to him, I said, you're like responsible for one of the best jump scares of all time. When Leatherface busts through the it literally gets me every fucking time, man. It's like literally one of the best jump scares in horror history, in my opinion. It's done so fucking well. It's like, oh man, it's me. And he's like, oh, thanks, man, thanks.
It was good.
And then we also got to see the Mutilator too.
Yeah,
I saw that you watched it. How disappointing was that? I'm just assuming it probably sucked. But
what? Okay, so I don't think it was disappointing. It was just weird.
Is it a direct sequel?
It is meta. In a way. It's like meta though. It's like they're making a Mutilator.
Okay, because I was wondering how they were going to do it.
Yeah, like they're at like I don't know if it's like the same location. Is this supposed to be the same location or what?
I think they said they were like out at the beach house or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's what they did. Yeah.
They're basically like making a new Mutilator, but somebody shows up and starts killing off like the people.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't mind that.
It had really good gore in it.
Yeah. So the gore was like mostly all practical, if not all. I think there was a little CG in one scene, but really, really solid gore. I'm just not sure how I felt about like the look of it and like it feels very low budget. But besides the gore, it feels a little higher budget. But
when you guys were walking in to see Mutilator 2, you guys singing, "We're gonna have a good time."
Well, we walked in while they showed Mutilator 1 before.
Did they play that song in the movie?
Oh, they better have.
I can't remember. Did they, Carly?
They throw back. That song is so fucking catchy. Oh man.
I don't think I think some dude like quoted it in the movie, but I don't think they actually played it.
Oh shit. I was hoping that they would like kind of throw back and put that song into it and shit. That'd be fucking pretty cool. Cause it's like so fucking catchy, dude. It's amazing.
Yeah. It was interesting though. I mean, I really didn't think it was it was fun enough. But yeah, it had really good gore. That was the one good thing about it. And then what else did we saw Bathtub Shark Attack again.
Nice.
In the theater.
A classic.
Yeah. And then we went to the drive-in Friday and we didn't make it to the children. We started getting tired. Which sucks because that was like one that I really wanted to see. But Return of the Living Dead, classic.
What a weird movie to watch at this time of year.
The Children?
Yeah.
Well, it's the 1980 Children.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah. I was thinking the other one. I was thinking the fucking Christmas New Year's one.
No, so we watched Return of the Living Dead.
That makes a lot more fucking sense now.
Which was the opener, which is awesome, of course. That was like a bucket list theater movie that I wanted to see. So
which one?
Good. Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, nice. Man, I'm so jealous, man. Like, you guys see Return of the Living Dead and Evil Dead? That's fucking, like, I've always wanted to see the Evil Dead on the big screen. I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's the second time I've seen Evil Dead.
Maybe next year for its like 40th anniversary.
Yeah, there's Alien this week. I'm excited about that.
There's definitely a few films that I need to knock off the list. Like I've seen Dawn of the Dead on the big screen. Like I've seen some of my like favorites, but honestly, Evil Dead and Return are two of the ones that are on my list. And then it's crazy.
Sorry. I'm actually like seeing most of the stuff that I've really wanted to see. You know what I mean? Like most of the movies I've seen on the big screen at this point. Like
you've seen Phantasm, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's another one that I want to see because I love Phantasm, man.
It was actually pretty amazing. Carly saw it with me, right?
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, that was one of the best.
I've actually seen it twice.
I just don't get shit like that around here, man. Like, it sucks.
But
we also saw Suspiria once in like the regular language.
Yeah, in Italian.
You guys saw that version of it? Crazy.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that also like for me now, like the bucket list one is like Day of the Dead, and because I've seen Night and Dawn, Day of the Dead, and probably like Hellraiser would be like the ones that I haven't seen yet that I want to, and like the Elm Street sequels. I've never seen any of the Elm Street sequels. They only ever
show the Elm Street films on the big screen often?
Well, there's one event it's like 5 hours away from us though, so we don't go often, but they have a Freddy Fest where they usually show a handful of those.
It's so cleverly titled, isn't it? Freddy Fest.
Yeah, they also do like they've done Shocker and like basically like Freddy ripoffs. Like Phantom of the Opera and stuff.
Right.
So they've done like they'll usually show like a couple of the Freddy films and then like a couple other movies that are like Freddy ripoffs.
Yeah. I would love to see Dream Warriors. That would be fucking amazing.
We've seen almost all the Fridays on the big screen at this point. Which ones haven't we seen, Carly?
Jason X movie.
I think part 2.
Yeah, part 2, which is like the main one I would like to see that. Yeah, because we've seen part 1, 3, and 4, I believe.
Yeah.
And have we seen 5?
I think we've seen 5.
5 seems like an odd one.
We've seen 6. We've seen 7.
Yeah. That drive-in, like that he was just saying about Freddy Fest, they do this Camp Blood thing every year too, where they'll play like, slashers, but obviously there's always like one Friday movie, one or two Friday
one
movies.
Or two. Sometimes they do 2. And it's always like 2 random ones. It's like part X, like 3 and 1, like X or something. But yeah, I think the only ones we haven't seen is like X, maybe definitely part 2, and I think the only other one is like 5. Did we see 8?
No, we definitely saw part 7, but no, not 8.
And we saw 9.
Yeah.
So 2, 5, and 8 are the only, and X are the only ones we haven't seen on the big screen.
I haven't seen anything from like a big 3 like that.
Hellraiser would be so cool to see, man. 1 and 2. Like,
yeah, Hellraiser.
I was lucky enough to see Hellraiser 3 actually when it came out in like 92 or 90. I've told that story in the podcast a couple times. They had it here one night showing, midnight showing, one night only. And me and my buddy went to it. We got his parents to drop it, or his mom to drop us off at midnight. Went, saw the film, and that was it. It was gone the next day. It was fucking awesome. But that was Hellraiser 3 in the theater. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it is. I love seeing like, retro films. The second film we saw was Death Dream, but it was under the title of, was it Dead of Night or something?
Yeah.
Which, man, that movie is really solid. Even Carly liked that one a good bit.
Cool.
Yeah, that was creepy.
It's so political, right? Like there's so much commentary in that film. It's amazing. Bob Clark did a good job with that one.
The Vietnam movie, right?
Yeah.
It's basically like Pet Sematary in a way.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Before Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Death Dream is really solid. And then we watched Messiah of Evil, which we struggled with a little bit, not gonna lie.
Fucking that's random because I actually picked up the Blu-ray yesterday. I was out and about doing some shit and I was just killing some time, and I was out at Sunrise Records, and I was like, I wonder if they got fucking Funeral, because I couldn't find a copy of Funeral Home, which of course my dad directed, right? And like for some reason I just could not find a copy of Funeral Home, and I was like, well, I wonder if they got it. They fucking had it in there, and I was like, oh, there's Messiah of Evil. I'll pick up that Radiance. It's expensive, but I like Messiah of Evil. I know it's kind of one of those films that like I feel that I've been hearing a lot of people talking about recently because it got re-released, right, by Radiance. Yeah. And it seems like a lot of people don't really care for it too much. I think it's great.
Yeah, I like that movie.
It had there's a lot of stuff in it that was like creepy and had potential, but then I feel like there's a lot of downtime. There's like,
I was just confused. I don't know.
Slow.
Like I like missed the plot a little bit or something.
Yeah, like I love that gas station scene, and then like the movie theater scene was really creepy. So I want to watch it. Yeah, I'd like to watch it at home by myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually like by that point in the night, it's like 2-3 in the morning. You've been sitting in a car all night.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking about either watching Funeral Home or that tonight since I just grabbed the Blu-rays yesterday. And I've never seen Funeral Home with a decent transfer because that one was like the victim of like the worst fucking DVD bootlegs and worst transfers ever. Like it was one of those movies where I feel like you couldn't see half the shit that was going on. You know what I mean? So
here's a other bit of news. I don't know if you guys knew about it. I definitely didn't. Rosemary's Baby prequel, Apartment 7A.
Yeah.
Is coming to Paramount Plus this year during Halloween season.
So that's it's going straight to Paramount. Fuck, that's annoying, dude. Oh, man, we just having this conversation. Today. I was just having this conversation yesterday with my buddy, and like we were talking about streaming services and how like, you have to have like 30 different streaming services to catch everything because like that's the beauty of Vinegar Syndrome, man. And like going back to that whole conversation about all the sister labels being in one spot, one stop shop kind of thing. But like, because I don't have Paramount Plus, and like, fuck, yeah, that drives me nuts, dude.
That's why you need to get on the Envy.
I don't even know what the fuck you just said to me.
There's a little.
Did you just call me a name? Like, are you fucking?
No, it's like
so I'm gonna take it as
server. It's a server we're on where it's like it's a pretty reasonable rate for like what you get out of it, and like it just has everything.
Yeah. Plus, we already have it, so you could just use the password.
Yeah, you guys will have to show me how to do it. Because I'm when it comes to that type of shit, I'm just like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they get I use it mainly for like the new stuff, like but even though I already have Paramount Plus, so
yeah. But that's
I tried
cool.
to unsubscribe, and they were like, "Please stay. You can stay for $1 for the next 3 months."
I don't know where I read that, but I knew about that prequel, but I didn't realize it was coming straight to Paramount. I thought it was actually being theatrical, but obviously I don't
know how I feel about this.
It's not a good sign.
Like, what do you like? I mean, to be honest, I mean, I was not at all looking forward to The First Omen.
Oh,
yeah. It's like another fucking prequel that I'm going to be
anything from it. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I just have no expectations for anything in like a movie theater. That like my bar for like movies horror films I see in the movie theater is just don't be boring. As long as it's like not boring, it's just like entertaining enough. Like I'm fine with it. Like the stuff I'm gonna like is probably not gonna be what I see in theater unless it's more of like an independent movie. So it's like as long as it's entertaining, like I really don't care. I don't go into anything like thinking it's gonna be great in the theater.
Yeah, I'm just when it comes to like prequels and sequels that are slipped into franchises and stuff, I don't really get overly too excited. But I mean, with The First Omen, like I was kind of taken back by it. It was actually really well done.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
So
you haven't seen it yet? Wow.
And I mean, this is coming off the absolute abomination of the Exorcist sequel. That movie is fucking trash bags, man. Like it was really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, this prequel to Rosemary's Baby, I mean, it's an interesting thought. I don't know how it's going to translate, but I guess we'll see. So
we're going straight to streaming. Doesn't
like what are you going to set it in the fucking 50s? Like where do you set it?
I'm curious what the narrative is. Yeah,
I thought my interpretation of it was that it was like the girl in Rosemary's Baby that she meets at the beginning. I forget her name. That is with.
Oh.
That's who I thought it was going to be.
Oh,
but like, I saw a screen cap, and like the girl kind of had like a 50s, 60s hairstyle, but it was blonde, and like I know it wasn't the same hairstyle as the woman from the movie.
If it's set in the 50s, that would be kind of cool. Because I love the aesthetic of the 50s, man. So,
but yeah,
that's interesting. I mean, is that the new hot thing? Prequels and sequels?
Probably.
I think they call them legacy sequels now.
Legacy sequels, yeah, right.
Well, it's like the beauty of them, I guess, is like you can shoot for one, and if people like it, then now you can make more movies. Like it's kind of feeling out. Like we want some more of these movies. It's all like kind of just it kind of makes sense. They're like feeling out for.
Well, who would have thought though? Like one of the better films of the year that I've seen was actually like a prequel. Like it just doesn't happen very often, but.
I still haven't seen much. I don't know if I've even seen 10 yet. I think Wait Night with the Devil is definitely my favorite so far, but that wasn't like...
that's interesting because, I've only watched 8 films from 2024. I've seen Night Swim. That was an abomination, piece of shit. Immaculate, I really liked. Ghostbusters was fun. First Omen was great. Godzilla and Kong is Godzilla and Kong. It was fun. Abigail was okay.
Yeah, Abigail was okay.
It was
I've
okay.
seen like 4.
Yeah, Abigail was like very typical, kind of by the numbers. We've seen this story before.
Yeah, and like the thing about it too is like it's so obvious like what the twist was by like the people they brought in. You know what I mean? It's like obviously this isn't a group of professionals. Obviously,
I literally said that to my buddy right after. I was like, man, everything about this movie was so predictable, but like it was still, it was entertaining for what it was.
I felt like he was trying to recapture what he got in what they had in like Ready or Not, but the problem with that is there was like too many like dumb characters in this one. Like there was only, you know what I mean?
The guy that gets killed first in this film, I was so happy he died first because he was fucking the most annoying character.
Yeah, like the dumb character ratio was like too high in this one, I think, and like it had made it like. And there weren't enough characters. Like you had like all these little like quirks in that movie, and it made it fun. But like there were just like too many like same noted like dumb characters.
I thought it was quite interesting, like how weak Abigail actually really kind of was. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't like that overpowering, crazy vampire with like these over the top fucking muscles and I don't know. It was weird. It was just a weird portrayal of what I mean. I guess it is like a little girl technically, but like, they're supposed to have inhuman strength and shit, and she didn't really portray that. It was weird.
There's a lot about the movie that's kind of questionable, and like, but it's like it's still in that territory where it's like it's entertaining enough. Like it was kind of long, but didn't really feel like it dragged.
It was bloody. It had lots of blood.
Yeah, I had a couple good scenes like of violence. It's like it's alright. It was all right.
I was a little bit pissy about the first kill that they actually didn't. They just showed the end result of it.
Well, that guy died, so like he might have died during filming.
Oh, in real life?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And, like he died like last like summer, I think. So like I don't know when this filming on this wrapped, but
oh fuck, I had no idea. Crazy. Well, that's interesting.
I feel like that probably wasn't why he died like that. Maybe just a budget thing. But yeah, I don't know, maybe.
So yeah, going back to Late Night with the Devil. So I watched it the other night, and honestly, dude, I was disappointed with it, man. I didn't care for it that much, man. Like I really like the premise. I think the premise is really cool. I thought the fucking effects and shit were pretty corny in it, but
yeah, the effects are the worst part. Like especially like that last sequence. You just like I don't understand when movies like. Okay, I know you want to do this thing, but it doesn't look good. Like you have to be.
No, it doesn't look good at all.
Like just do something.
It kind of ruined it for me, to be quite frank. Like
because it's at the end, so it leaves you with a sour note. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was filmed well. I thought it was acted really well. I thought there was some cool, there was cool parts. The dialogue, it's slower, but I mean, it is a build up, right?
Yeah, I thought it was like I thought it wasn't as good as like Ghost Watch or something, but it was like a fresh take on that sort of thing. Kind of like at least like a different like way to use found footage. So like I did like it. Nice. Yeah, the aesthetic was. There's a lot of things that were good about it, and even though like I kind of feel
creepy. She had some creepy looks.
Like, I feel the same. Like there was like the really cool part with like the psychic. I thought it was cool with like the guy like the hoax buster at the end. The guy was like trying to bust the psychics.
Yeah.
Well, I think that what was really cool about it is that like a lot of this stuff is, I don't know if it's directly based, but that like that whole scene with the psychic and the like psychic skeptic, that is taken from a real like talk show where like there was like this guy who offered $100,000 to anybody that could prove of things, and then he comes on the show and he basically makes the guy who bends spoons look like a moron. Like I saw it was back in the 70s.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, man, for sure.
I thought that all that stuff was cool because it was like I don't know. I mean, it almost had to be like inspired by that actual thing.
It has to be.
But I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dislike it. I just again, the effects were, I thought, really corny.
Yeah, like I do
can't even think about what effects are you talking about
at the end,
like the end,
like right at the end. Like that's the issue with it. It's like it's right at the end, so it kind of leaves you. But I did like the ending, and it just, I liked a lot of the movie. It's like I just don't like the movie anymore at that point, but it's like I liked so much the movie that beforehand that like I still like I still kind of like hold it up a little higher. I don't know, like it's pretty good. I don't think it's like a knockout or anything, but I think it's the best.
I can see this one ending up on people's lists at the end of the year. Yeah. I think people are gonna. Yeah. I don't think it's one of those very decisive, I either love it or hate it kind of thing. I thought it was good. Like I liked it, but there was certain things about it. I was like, okay, the execution I thought was a little sloppy at times, but
based on last year, it probably would have made somewhere in like the bottom like third of my list.
Probably, man. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I'm paid for Shudder. I paid my whole $7.99 every year, and I honestly I've watched like nothing on Shudder this entire 2024 year. In fact, that was the first movie I'd watched on Shudder. So I was like, you know what, I got to start getting my money's worth here. So I watched You'll Never Find Me.
That was on my list, yeah.
It's got a really cool premise to it. I kind of like it and shit, but like. It faltered, man. It fell off in the third act for me so bad. Like there's a lot of really good tension, a lot of really good atmosphere, and like some really creepy conversations. The dialogue kind of sucks you in at times and shit because this character's like, you're not really too sure who the villain is or who isn't, kind of thing. And it's like two characters, right? It's fucking two people in a room. And I like these type of settings and these type of setups and shit. But the third act falls for me. It fails. But it wasn't horrible. So that's my Shudder experience. I watched 2 movies. I've watched 8 movies this year, man. Fucking slow. Everything has been so slow. Like I was talking with my buddy about music too. There's been nothing this year. Like we're almost into May.
Yeah,
we complain, but it's been fucking slow, dude. Like I know
there's a few I've missed that are like kind of like you said, like Shudder movies or AMC movies, but like
even Shudder only has a handful of fucking movies that are actually from 2024 on there.
It doesn't even seem like there's any movie anybody's really buzzing about yet.
No, there has been nothing buzzing at all. And it's so fucking I'm like, dude, I don't want to be that guy. And I'm like, modern horror. I would never say modern horror films suck. No, that's just incompetency right there to say that shit. Shoot me in the fucking face.
There's some stuff that like I've been anticipating all year though, that I know like at the festival circuit last year that still hasn't come out. That'll be like, oh man, where is this movie Red Room? This movie Red Room is supposed to be like crazy.
I'm so excited for Maxine. Like I just can't even, I think about it like all the time. Like I can't even remember the last time I was so excited for a movie. Like I usually try not to get excited for films because I feel like it kind of lets me down if I get too into it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean, I love the first 2 so much that like, how could this one fail? It's set in the 80s. Come on, man. This is going to be fucking awesome. So whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck the haters out there. I've been seeing lots of comments lately about how X and fucking Pearl aren't even good. And I'm like, that's so crazy. Like, I respect. I mean, if you don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. You don't have to like every fucking movie I like. But I just find it really interesting when people are saying they're shitty films. I'm like,
definitely shitty.
Are you saying they're shitty or you just don't like them? There's a difference.
They're definitely shitty.
Like, I read a comment just the other day about how X and Pearl were terrible. And and they're like typical Ty West bullshit. He's overrated director. He doesn't know how to do shit. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Everybody says all his movies suck. Like, how is he overrated?
Dude, that's a good fucking point. If all his movies suck, then how is he
like
overrated?
Literally, like everybody, anytime Ty West comes up in discourse, like most people say like his movies are bad overall. So it's like, how is this guy overrated?
It's so weird because I never find myself thinking like, hey, I'm a big Ty West fan, but I like the majority of his movies.
His movies are fine. Like
I love The Innkeepers.
Yeah,
I love The Innkeepers.
I like that movie. I like that movie, The Sacrament. Like, he's made some decent movies.
The Sacrament, House of the Devil. I even like The Roost, and that was like, his kind of like,
But it's like he was like whether his like work holds up either. It's just like he was kind of an important guy in that like mid 2000s like transitional period for indie filmmakers, like indie horror. He really was like kind of like an important dude like in that movement.
People just love to hate, man. It's like the whole Rob Zombie thing, right? Ty West kind of falls into that same category, right? People just love to be like, fuck Ty West.
Yeah, he's kind of in there with like Rob Zombie and Eli Roth. Those are definitely the 2 most hated.
I can't even figure out if people dislike Eli Roth's movies or just him.
I don't even know. Like, I think I probably like him more than his movies. Only his movies are like, I think he's made some bad
Dude, I've said that on the show before too. I like Eli Roth. Like, I think he's very knowledgeable. I think he's fucking, he does. He looks like your typical college douchebag, But I don't care what you look like. It's your knowledge and the way you come off and shit. Like, I actually prefer Eli Roth as the person to his movies, to be honest. And I don't think his movies are terrible. In fact, like, I mean, I think some are better than others.
Some solid. He's made some bad ones. He's made some solid ones. It's not like you.
The Green Inferno.
It's unfair.
That was donkey dicks, man. That was a bag of floppies, man. That was a bag of floppies.
I think his most uninteresting movie is Death Wish.
Death Wish is a terrible fucking remake.
I don't like that Knock Knock movie either.
Knock Knock is a bad remake in itself too. See, I like the original film. Like that game, I mean, it is what it is. I think Knock Knock is like.
I did not like that movie.
It's a little more cautious in my opinion. I think it's more cautious in my opinion. Like, I think
what's wrong with the ending?
It's corny.
You're corny. It's supposed to be like funny, dude.
See, in the original film, man, the ending's fucking. You're just like, what the fuck?
I haven't seen the original.
Have you guys seen the original? Oh man, Grindhouse actually just put it out on Blu-ray. It's awesome.
I think I did.
But yeah, the original one. I mean, if you compare the two, it's like it is what it is. They're like kind of like apples and oranges, really. I really like to do that. He kind of did his own thing with it, but yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of that. Green Inferno, not a big fan. I mean, he's got his moments though. So, Hostel. It's a tough watch for me sometimes.
Pretty important film for the genre.
Hostel 1 and 2 are the shit.
Hey, man, I'm gonna go on the record saying I like the third Hostel.
I mean,
it's honestly not that bad.
Everybody hates that movie. I think
expected it to be so much worse. Like when I rewatched it, I was like, "This is like it was entertaining enough. Like this wasn't like boring."
I think
like,
taking
what do you
Vegas.
Expect? Yeah, like what do you expect? It's fucking Hostel 3 in Vegas,
dude. As soon as I heard it was in Vegas, I was like, "Wow, this is gonna be okay."
There's even like some cool twist to it. Like obviously the production value is like way fucking.
Oh, it's shitty. Yeah,
it's like I don't know. There's some like cool little twists in it. Like the ending's a little stupid, but you know,
Hostel 2, I think, is my favorite one.
It's fun. I had such a crazy experience like at the first Hostel, like in the movie theater, that it's like one of those movies that like.
JP's probably looking up ratings right now. He's like, Moodz is fucking lying. He rated the first one higher.
Oh my god! I saw like the first Hostel in the movie theaters, and then like when that guy gets out the end, people in my theater were just like, yeah, I'm just so like excited, like yelling at the screen. I thought that was fucking awesome. And like that was like that was pretty violent, like for 2004 or whenever it came out. Like that was like a step up before, like from
2005.
2005, yeah, it was definitely like a step up from like what we've seen before, even like compared to older movies.
What's the fucking first Eli Roth? What's the name of the movie again?
Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever. Fuck, I could not remember.
Yeah. I liked that movie a lot when I was younger.
Man, that one had a bad remake too. Ugh, it was terrible.
So I mean, I like most of his movies. I think Cabin Fever is like the most.
Yeah, you're a fucking fanboy. Like you're juggling is nuts, dude.
I don't think that I'm as big of a fan as I
dude. When we did the Hostel films, man, like
yeah, dude, but it's
you never stopped
movies,
talking, man. Like I think that was probably I only said 4 words in 3 hours.
It was because it was that.
I was surprised you were able to talk with this cock in your mouth. Like it's impressive, man. It's actually pretty impressive to do that. Kudos, man. Kudos. You know, I can't talk when I'm eating a hot dog, so.
So listen to what I did over the weekend. Besides the stuff I said. So I bought a mini PC. So I had a couple gift cards from bonuses at work for Amazon, and I bought a mini PC. Do you guys know what that is?
A mini PC. No idea.
Not real.
It's basically just a PC that's like the size of like, I don't know, like 6 by 6 or something inches maybe, and then like.
So you bought a phone?
No, it maybe a little bit bigger, but
it doesn't have a screen. It's not real.
Is it like an iPad? Is it like the size of like an iPad?
No, it doesn't have a screen. It's just a box. It's just like a little box, and then it has like, you know, HDMI and USBs and stuff, and then you plug it into a monitor, and basically I'm using it as a MB server. I haven't quite 100% figured out how it works yet in terms of like using it as a as a server. I can get it to work like on my own network, but I don't know how. I'm not 100% sure. I'm still like learning. But basically, the reason that I wanted it was to have like all my Joe Bob episodes with me, like whenever, because they, you know, they take them off Shutter and stuff. So I have the entire Last Drive-In run, everything. I finally found the last couple things that I needed. So it's pretty cool.
You should make physicals of those. Just get a program to put those in there and make physicals.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be kind of cool.
It would be.
They're never going to come out.
Cool. Well, yeah, obviously, but the thing is with that is, and me and Jeremy have talked about this a bunch. Like, it's a lot harder than, because he's even like thought about how to do it. It's like a lot harder than you might think. You know,
I've seen people make their own versions
to do like artwork and stuff like that. I've seen really good bootlegs of it. I would love to do that eventually, but
yeah, I seen fucking Simon Explosive Action. Like, I think I talked about this before with the Fear Street trilogy. Yeah, he made his own DVD or Blu-rays of them, and it looked fucking store bought. Like, I couldn't fucking believe it, man. I was like, that's impressive, dude. Like, that's amazing what he did with this. I was like, damn, because he's like, well, they're Netflix exclusive, so they're never coming out. So. Why not do it, right? But I mean, those things I wouldn't feel bad making copies of those, because like they're never coming out.
Right. And that's sort of how I am with the Joe Bob stuff too, is like I subscribe to Shutter. They're not available on there. They, you know, I want them. It's the same as me recording it off the TV, essentially, you know.
Right.
But and it's for personal use. But it's really cool because, dude, it's actually insane like how many things he's done since that original marathon. Like, it's nuts. Like, there's like 20 movies per season. There's 6 seasons. Well, the 6th one just started, and then there's all the specials, like all the Christmas specials. They've done a Christmas and a Halloween special every year, and then they've done a lot of Valentine's Day specials and only one Thanksgiving special, oddly enough. But it's
just not a lot of Thanksgiving horror films.
Well, they didn't do Thanksgiving. They did what they do. They did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because like the cannibalism family. Well, that movie actually does feel like a perfect Thanksgiving movie, because like the dinner table scene and stuff. Yeah. And then he did Blood Rage, which is Thanksgiving. Hills Have Eyes. Hills Have Eyes, which also sort of feels like it fits. Because like the cannibalism, and then Dead Alive, the Takashi Miike movie, which felt really out of place.
Yeah, man. You know, I rewatched The Hills Have Eyes just a few weeks back again, man. I really like it, man. It's good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But also I have about like 200 episodes of Monster Vision and Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater, as well as like other stuff that just isn't available, like Freddy's Nightmares and Are You Afraid of the Dark and stuff. So it's pretty cool. I need to get another a bigger external hard drive, because I'm about out of space. But so far so good. Mini PC was sort of the way to go, because if I'm just using it for the server, basically, it can handle it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, yeah, for Freddy's Nightmares, man, I would love to have all those. Like, dude, that is.
It's kind of weird that show has never been put on.
Well, considering like I know we talked about this a long time ago, even with like, you know, with the Wonder Years getting its official release with like 99% of the original music put back into it. If they can release that, because that was like everyone, like that's never coming out because there was so much fucking copyrighted shit, right? You know, I mean, you think they could figure out the Freddy's Nightmares, but I think the problem is that maybe they just don't think there's enough interest in it even to, you know, to go through the whole, you know, the whole stages of putting this thing together and clearing all the rights and shit like that. Who knows?
I don't know. Also, sometimes when you have TV shows from that era, they don't really like they were mastered on like tape or something.
Yeah.
So it could have something to do with that, because like that's why you're not going to get like certain of those old shows on like Blu-ray, but even DVD. Like
they literally did it to save money because it was cheaper than film, right? So
yeah.
But I mean, whatever. I don't even care. Like, I mean, we know it's going to be 4:3 full screen. I don't care as long as I can see what's going on and I can hear what's going on. I don't really give a shit. I just want the complete series. Like, and I know there's people out there that would buy this shit up.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's one of the like weirdest like popular things that has never been released in like any format besides there was a VHS that had a couple episodes.
Right. Yeah, and it's cool because we've talked about the first episode too, right? Like with the
the first episode, like I feel like if we ever do the Elm Street films, well, when we do the Elm Street films,
which was Tobe Hooper, right?
Yeah, we would at least talk about the first episode of the series, and I think there's like 2 or 3 other Freddy centric episodes as well.
Right.
So I'm sure we'd talk about those as well. But yeah, No More Mr. Nice Guy. The pilot episode is literally a prequel to Elm Street. Which
I don't think a lot of people even realize that's really cool though. And it's directed by Tobe
Hooper.
Yeah,
which is neat. Yeah, I mean, it's a little dated for the, like the time period being TV and stuff. But if you actually were to flesh that out, it's kind of a cool, like, starting point for the Elm Street films because we never got to actually see the backstory of like the court and stuff and what was going on. So that was pretty cool.
I'd like to do the Friday the 13th series sometime. That would be really fun to do, man. I always like the premise of the TV series, like just the objects, and it's pretty cool. It's been years since I've seen them. I think I only own season 1 and season 3. Don't ask me.
I own Carly actually got me the complete series for Christmas one year, I think.
Yeah, I know they re-released it, and like it was so like I just kept passing on it because I was like I already had season 1 and 3, but then season 2 could never find. I don't know. I just don't have the second season. It's weird. But it's been years since they used to play them on TV all the fucking time.
Oh yeah.
So I've seen those things like tons and tons of times, but yeah, really good.
I'm just disappointed that they never followed through because I believe the last episode was originally supposed to be like a Jason episode where they like the hockey mask was like the cursed item or something like that.
Right.
And they never did it.
Which is kind of fucked up. You think that would be the obvious, is probably because they couldn't get the rights to use Jason.
Maybe.
Probably right. It's been that is a fucking cursed ass franchise right now, man. Oh fuck.
Rights fuck a lot of things up.
Yeah. Yeah, you know it's fucking bad when you can't get Friday the 13th part 13. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Like how does that not happen? Like that's a given. That's a fucking given. But it's not a given because it's never going to happen. But you know what we can get though? A brand new Halloween trilogy. And I'm sure there's going to be 14 more of those motherfuckers.
You'll probably get like 3 more of those before you get a Friday film.
Dude, I don't think we're ever going to get.
You have that like Friday like kind of ripoff like POV movie coming out.
Yeah, that movie looks kind of cool.
Well, there's a Friday the 13th fan film made every fucking week.
Oh,
there's literally hundreds.
Fucking count.
Yeah.
You know, Matt, like You and Your Horror Movies, has an entire section in his collection of all the indie fucking fan made Friday the 13th films in his collection. Like he's got a whole fucking section just dedicated to these things. I'm like, Matt, that's fucking insane. Dude, there's that many of them.
That's a fetish.
That is a fetish at this point, man. It's like German piss porn. I don't know. I just when he said that in a video not too long ago, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" There's that many, right? I never really thought about it, but like they come out like weekly. It seems like it's crazy. I mean, most
Harley just bought one.
Because any Billy Bob can make a movie now.
Yeah,
Which one did you buy, Carly?
1 or 2, maybe. I don't know.
I bought that Victim No More movie because the guy saw me wearing a part 2 shirt and he was like, "Do you like Baghead Jason?" I was like, "Uh-oh," he lured me in. But I did watch it and it's not bad. It's only 40 minutes and Jason looks cool and they use the music and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. Like, but you know, none of them feel like, I feel like all these directors are always like, ours is different. It is such a throwback. It's going to be just like the movies. And they never feel that way. Like,
yeah,
they just don't.
Yeah, because now they're even getting like the actors that were in the movies.
Well, yeah, and that's what they're like. We got so and so to do a cameo. Then you see them in the movie, and you're like, that doesn't even look like them because they don't. They first of all, they haven't acted since that movie. Second of all, they're like old as hell. So it's like you have to like say their name, like, oh, Megan, and it's like, oh, okay, that's who that is.
Is Megan in it?
Yeah, actually.
That's crazy.
Of all people, yeah.
At this point in Ari Lehman's career, he's probably asking indie directors to put him in the films.
Listen, you guys need to leave fucking Lehman alone. Dude is
he just cracks me up, dude. I don't know something, but he's a funny looking
Ari
dude
Lehman.
too.
He's like one of the people that actually like embrace his legacy in the franchise more than like anybody.
Yeah. Well,
he's
maybe not
cool.
Kane Hodder, but
well, yeah, maybe not Kane.
Nobody does it more than
honestly. Kane no, that's not Kane. Ever since he started Victor Crowley, he kind of like chilled on like that's sort of his baby now.
He still asked me who I thought was a better Jason, fucking him or CJ Graham, and I was like, dude, you're putting me on the spot, man. Like I was literally wearing my hoodie with my fucking Part 6 Jason. Like Part 6 is my favorite Jason. And I met CJ Graham. And I told him the story, and he's like, "What would you say?" And I was like, "I said it was you were my favorite Jason." He's like, "That a boy." I think he thought I was joking. Actually, I was like,
just actually has an actual personality with Jason where nobody else really did. Maybe Ted White.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely played it a lot different for sure. But he also like, the problem is with Kane Hodder as Jason is he's nothing in the worst ones. He's in the worst ones. That's the problem. Like, you know, his portrayal is just kind of forgettable in that sense, because those are the ones I don't watch as much, right? So, I mean, in Part 9, he's not even really Jason. Like, it's crazy. Like, he has really no Jason parts in that, except for a couple. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like just at least with Part 6, like I love CG Graham. He's so fucking huge. He's a big dude, man. Like, he is a big muscular motherfucker. I just love his portrayal, man. He just looks awesome on screen too. So yeah, and he's a nice guy. Not to say that Kane Hodder wasn't, but he sits down when he takes pictures with you now.
Oh,
Kane doesn't get up. He doesn't even get up anymore.
He's probably all sore from all his stunt work over the years.
Yeah, I think so too, man. He's just wear and tear, man. He's done. So, yep. Mm-hmm. So, you guys watch any more 75 films or what?
I've only watched 2 so far.
You've only watched 2 total?
2 total, yeah.
Holy shit.
We have all summer.
I forgot which one it was. I thought I just watched one.
I keep like, which one, Carl?
It was called Deadly Strangers last night.
How was that?
Oh, that one's on my list.
It was decent. It was like thriller-esque, like road thriller type thing.
Is it a TV film?
It might. I'm not sure. But it's on.
I watched. Yeah, it was like after the show last week. That's why I forgot. I watched Late Night Trains.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Night Train Murders.
Yeah. Oh, it's got like Late Night Trains on Letterboxd. It's got a bunch of titles.
It's got like 14 different names for it.
Yeah.
Of course it does. It's Italian.
I'm a big fan of that film.
I like it too.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
Last House on the Left on a Train.
It is.
Yeah, I was like, that's exactly what I thought.
It's just a brutal movie, dude. Like they do to those girls is brutal, man. Yeah, I watched School of Death, which was released by Mondo. It's pretty cool. I liked it. Good atmosphere. I watched The Human Factor. I'd never seen the whole film before. I remember it popped. It was like a Dark Sky Films release years ago, and I fell asleep the first time I was watching it. It's got George Kennedy in it, basically a revenge tale. His family gets murdered and he goes on a revenge tale. So it's not really, it's like horror Jason kind of thing. Sudden Fury, which was released by Vinegar Syndrome, kind of exploitation film, basically about a dude that figures that he's saving this girl and he becomes kind of like the hunted and stuff. And it's a fucking great movie, man. Sudden Fury is awesome. And then I watched, I don't even know why I did this to myself again. I've watched this movie before, and without even exaggerating, it's probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And that's Frozen Scream. Vinegar Syndrome put this out on a double feature. They actually dropped a Blu-ray of it. It's like one of those really rare Vinegar Syndrome releases with Executioner Part 2, which there's no Part 1. It's just Executioner Part 2. Yeah, Frozen Scream is like, it's funny too because it was made in 75, but it was never released until 1980 or 81 or something like that. So it comes up on IMDb as 75, but I think if you get the DVD, Blu-ray, it'll probably say 1980 or 81. But yeah, it was shelved for like 6 years, probably for good reasons because it's it's a chore, man. And it's one of those weird fucking movies where like you're watching it and then all of a sudden the lead character starts narrating what's going on, but there's still dialogue happening and you're trying to listen to the dialogue, but then there's a narration that's over and it almost sounds like a commentary comes in and they didn't turn the volume down to the film. and I'm being serious, dude. And it's really fucking, it's like aggravating to watch. And it happens throughout the film a few times. It is so jarring. Throw $1 in the jar. It's so beyond jarring that it's laughable, but the fucking movie's so bad. Like it's super low budget. It's just shit from top to bottom. Oh my God, it's bad. You guys have to watch it. You have to watch Frozen Scream.
You just told me it's so bad.
It's so, and it's actually so bad that it's not even good. It's not even one of those.
Okay, so I'm definitely not watching it.
Yeah,
you gotta see it, man.
You gotta try this shit sandwich.
Oh shit,
it's so gross. Try it.
I just look at that as like being part of the experience. I definitely watched some movies we live in where I was like, this is gonna be bad. Let's do it.
But you might even get a kick out of it because when the narration starts, you're like, it's so beyond jarring though. Like I can't even explain to you. Like I remember the first time I watched this, I thought I clicked over onto the commentary because that's what it was coming out as. I was like, this is fucking bizarre, man. It is really weird. So
yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah, I recommend it. Everyone check out Frozen Scream. It's good. No, it's not. It's just,
no, I haven't. I've only watched A Boy and His Dog and Death Race.
So you haven't even watched a horror film yet? Fucking idiot. Yeah, I'm up to 28, but yeah. I mean, I've watched a lot of adjacent stuff like Human Factors adjacent, Sudden Furies adjacent, kind of thing. I would say the Stepford Wives too. I mean, it is what it is.
I'm not opposed. Like I'm looking forward to getting into the movies. It's just I've been just kind of like waiting a little bit, just because doing shows and stuff. Right. Whenever we don't have anything planned, it's always easier to start diving into that stuff. Plus, I've been watching some slashers and stuff for the show that I'm doing with Exploding Heads, and then also what I really need to be watching is 1936 movies.
I know we're gonna have to crash on. I gotta crash on those.
Oh, speaking of slashers, man, because I was fucking razzing Carly, I think, on last episode about Don't Go in the Woods. She doesn't like it, but it's like one of my all-time favorites. And there's actually a correlation here with Frozen Scream. So the guy that scored Frozen Scream, they used the same score in Don't Go in the Woods for that slasher film. And I was like watching this, I'm like, fuck, I'm like, I recognize this music. I'm like, the fuck is this from? I'm like, is that Don't Go in the Woods? And I looked it up and it was Don't Go in the Woods. It was the same shitty like Casio keyboard shit.
Another reason not to watch it.
Oh, dude, Don't Go in the Woods. Oh, I fucking love that movie. It's so good. So fucking awesome, man. It's like one of my go-tos in the summertime. I watch it all the time. But anyways, yeah. So Frozen Scream, yeah, it's really bad. It's terrible. But I'm up to 28.
Dude, I'm a little nervous about this 36 show, dude.
Yeah, man. There's like not too many to watch, but
also just like the 41 show that we had, like there was at least there was a bona fide like great movie there with the Wolfman,
right? But
also like I was familiar with some of the other movies and thought that they were, at least thought they were pretty good, like Dr. Jekyll and stuff. But like 36, dude, there's like literally like nothing that I pretty much know from that movie.
It is
that year.
It is pretty jarring when you look at the list of films from 36 and you're like, oh my God, the standout film from 1936 is Dracula's daughter. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, what the fuck, man? That's not a good sign.
I know, like it's gonna be like we might not even be able to call it top 10. We're gonna have to call it like ranking.
We're gonna bust it. We're gonna pull a Jeremy and do top 5 list.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that there's some good ones in there, but I don't know. I haven't heard of most of these movies, and that's usually not a good sign.
I've only seen, I think, maybe 3 films that I have from like all the ones I could find. I've only seen like 3 of them, so I don't know. Well, Dracula's Daughter, I've seen a couple times, so
yeah, I've seen.
I'm familiar with that one, but yeah, dude.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Is Tony's doing that one with us?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
you might want to let him know the recording date.
He should know. I think we maybe definitely let him know. So, but yeah, fucking 36. That's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a quick show.
Probably.
Like this movie was bad.
Yeah, we're gonna start with 5s.
Like it's gonna
we did last time, I think, right? We started with 5s.
I think I was started with 6.5. I think
something like that. Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty low.
I started with like a 5, I think.
Oh, dude, that's fucking funny, man. I mean, what happens if you don't even like 10? Do you still just flush out the list?
I mean, it's the top 10 of the year.
Yeah, so I guess it doesn't have to like them. Like it doesn't mean you like
I don't like this film, but I dislike some movies.
It's just the 10 best movies that there is.
So number 10, starting out with a 3.5.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's frightening. That is really, really frightening. But then again, it might be entertaining to talk about if they're that bad. Yeah. Who knows? I mean,
at least they're like short. Like most of these movies are like literally like 63 minutes.
Well, there's one of them is like a Sweeney Todd film, right? The Demon Barber.
Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Yeah, I've never seen that version.
Yes, this 36. One is 76 minutes.
Yeah, there's a lot of versions of that.
Yeah, I think there might have been I think we talked about this. I think there was a silent one too. And I think there's one. Fuck, I don't know how many adaptations there is. There's too many.
There's a Todd Browning movie.
What's that one?
The Devil Ball.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the better movies from that year.
Yeah.
What's it called? The Devil Ball?
The Devil Doll.
Oh, Devil Doll. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
See, there's one movie that's not listed under horror that sounds a lot like a horror movie. Let me find it. Oh.
There's one called like something Inn or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it was. That sounds right. Is this it? House of Secrets? Maybe.
Well, that was the other one. I think the Invisible Ray.
Yeah, House of Secrets. That's one.
Which we've actually reviewed on the show before.
Yeah, the Invisible Ray.
Yeah.
I remember you not liking it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think it was our least favorite from that pack, though.
I can't remember. Was that the one where he was like a mobster or something?
No, that's not the one.
Something else.
Oh, the Rogues Tavern. That's what you were thinking.
Yeah, that's the movie. Yeah. Tavern.
Yeah, that one's on YouTube. But anyways, yeah.
Well, most of these are on YouTube.
Yeah, thank goodness.
I don't think the Devil Doll is, though, which I couldn't find. And same with the Walking Dead.
I think that one has a Blu-ray, right? I think that's is it Warner Archive that has that?
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, they probably do.
Oh, actually. Is it? Oh.
Maybe. I can't remember.
You know what? I think you're actually right on that.
I think I picked it up at the last, like a couple weeks ago. I think it's up at the post office. Well, there's one 36 movie that Warner Archive released.
Oh yeah, it is. It's the Lionel Barrymore film. Directed by Todd Browning, man. Holy fuck, is that?
At least you got a good director there.
Yeah, I just picked up that Criterion set of the Todd Browning films, actually, with Freaks and stuff.
Yeah, I grabbed that last year.
Yeah, I grabbed it a while back, but
Oh man, it's one of the more expensive ones on Amazon. That sucks.
Yeah, dude, this thing's way expensive. Holy fuck.
What?
Usually,
What is
the Devil Doll?
Devil's Doll Blu-ray, man.
Usually, like Warner Archives are like $17.99 on average. Sometimes a little cheaper on Amazon, so it's not a big deal if you want one. This one's $23.99.
Man,
I got it for like four for 49. So
it's like 4 for something. It's like $4 or 50 or something. But they get you on the shipping. I forgot. I just forgot, and I forgot to put in my order. I want to get a handful of horror stuff.
Yeah, I think I got 8 titles.
Yeah, I was gonna get about that. I wanted to get like the Michael Curtis early movies. And I done goofs. I want to get King Kong. I fucked that up.
have you guys seen the
I think I got King Kong.
the RoboCop doc called RoboDoc, the creation of RoboCop?
No, I've never even seen RoboCop. So
Oh yeah, you're fucking
RoboCop's
stupid.
awesome.
RoboCop is fucking amazing.
I mean, I've seen it when I was a kid, but I don't really remember it.
it's fucking RoboCop's.
I gave it a fresh watch
awesome.
about a year and a half ago or something.
I watch it every couple of years. Yeah, I just came across the documentary yesterday, and I was like, the fuck, I didn't even know about it. It's crazy. It's like 3 hours long, I think, too.
Is that one Screambox exclusive?
It's something like that, yeah. Yeah, and I saw the Blu-ray and I was like, damn, the fuck. But pretty cool.
I like Paul Verhoeven in general as a director.
Yeah, he does good stuff. Probably one of the more famous Dutch directors out there.
Yeah.
But this Devil Doll Blu-ray, holy fuck.
What's it running?
Oh, it's 45 here.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
That's crazy. And it's literally that's
the cover art, dude. The cover is really nice too. I like that art.
Mm-hmm.
One of the archives always has really nice art.
Yeah, so Lionel Barrymore, he's what Drew Barrymore's grandfather. She has multiple family members that are going back to that. I think it's the grandfather. Yeah. Anyways, 36 dog. You guys want to get into these dentist films or what?
Yeah, you didn't come up with an occupational horror list or something?
No, I didn't even think about it, actually.
Son of a gun.
I mean, what would you really even...
Occupational horror movies?
Occupational horror.
The carpenter?
The stylist. The
style.
We create our own. The dentist, the surgeon.
There might be one called The Barber.
Workplace horror. All right,
Dr. Giggles was a doctor.
I gotcha. The best workplace horror movies ranked by fans.
Is that real? You found one?
Yeah, here's
pretty
one.
Good horror movies set in the workplace.
Okay, 10 best workplace horror films. Okay, so I just clicked on this 10 best workplace horror film. Okay, the number 10 is the Belko Experiment. So we're way off pace here.
What?
The Belko Experiment. What the fuck?
That came out a couple years ago. That's with the guy from Scrubs.
It's in The Office.
Yeah, it's
right.
17.
It's like a rage virus or something.
Yeah.
No, that was there was Mayhem and then the Belko Experiment the same year. The Belko was the bosses locked them all in and told them they have to kill each other or some shit.
Yeah. I never saw it, but I remember.
And Mayhem was the Joe Lynch movie in The Office.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, number 9 is Mayhem. Which I thought was pretty fun. It was good.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, the Belko Experiment was pretty cool. Number 8 is Severance. Oh, this movie's pretty cool. I like Severance.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one in years, actually. That one doesn't
I haven't seen that for
I think it has a UK Blu-ray, but okay. Number 7 is Alien.
I guess.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I guess you can put it in there, right? I just never would have thought of it, but
what about the Ice Cream Man?
Number 6 is Final Destination 5.
Because they're at work. They're on work. They're at work. They're doing something for work.
Oh, a group of office tips. Okay, right. Okay, that gets me. I just haven't seen it in a while. Probably since we did the show. Number 5 is Intruder. That makes sense. It's in the fucking grocery store.
Yeah.
In the supermarket. Right. That's cool. I love me some Intruder. Number 4 is Day of the Dead. Interesting.
That's really stretching it.
Yeah, it is stretching it. That's interesting. Oh my God, this is so funny. So number 3, and I literally just watched this movie on Friday night because I had a hankering to watch it, and I laughed for fucking the whole time again. And it's Vampire's Kiss. Number 3. That's so cool. It's on the list because I literally just watched it, man. Oh my God. How could she file it wrong? All you do is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. You guys fucking see
no
it.
idea what you're talking about.
Dude, I just love that scene. He's like running down the street screaming like, I'm a vampire.
Oh my God. When he's talking to his therapist and he's talking about how his receptionist filed the shit wrong, he's like, how could she file it wrong? All you do is go A, B, C, D. And he just, oh my God. And he says, he's fucking freaking out about it, right? Oh my God. It's so funny. Nick, it's the best performance of all time. He needs to win an award every year just for Vampire's Kiss.
It's such a bizarre film.
It's so funny, the whole movie. Like, when he turns his couch into a fucking coffin, oh my God, dude, it's so fucking funny. Number 2 is The Lighthouse.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a lighthouse. That's their job.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. And oh shit, yeah, totally right. Number 1 is The Shining.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting list because I actually couldn't predict what was going to be on the list.
I know one. How about The Carpenter, man?
Yeah, the Carpenter.
I mentioned that one. The Carpenter, Ice Cream Man.
All right.
Wow, there's a lot of lists.
Like a difference,
Office Killer.
Difference between like them taking place in the workplace and like it being like the worker that's like the psychopath.
Yeah, like the occupation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a million of these lists, man. They're everywhere. This one's fucking whatever, but
there was one that I saw a couple years ago. I don't know if it ever actually came out or not. It was I saw it for Fantasia Fest. I think it was like Irish or something. Or the UK. I can't remember, but it was like employee. I don't know if it was like employee of the month or something like that. Forget the name of it, but it was like a comedy. It was pretty cool. What's that? And then there's that one with who's the girl that plays May? Angela Bettis. Remember she's like a nurse.
Oh yeah. I didn't really care for that one too much, but
I thought it was fun.
Here's another list, man. I mean, it's got very similar films on it, man. But The Belko Experiment, Mayhem, Pontypool's on this list. That makes sense.
Radio, yeah.
Yeah, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which is a really good film.
Oh, that was literally just on last drive-in Friday night.
Nice. The Cabin in the Woods
night,
which I just rewatched recently for 11.
I actually love Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Yeah, it's a good film. It's really good. Yeah, this one's got very similar films. It's got like The Lighthouse on there. Fucking Day of the Dead's on this list. Also, The Thing is on this list.
Yeah, Researchers.
So that makes sense. The Thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got Shining, fucking Alien. Weird. But yeah, so I mean, Pontypool, that's a good one. That's a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that was cool. Workplace horror films. Nice. It's pretty broad. Yeah. Like you could really kind of stretch that one out. Like,
there's so many.
There's some stretches even on that list.
Like even American Psycho was on one of these lists.
Yeah, that's the list I saw. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Like Voices was number 1.
Voices.
I know one that needs to be made is The Plumber.
Right.
There is a movie called The Plumber, but it's not a horror movie. It's like a kind of like a satire, like drama.
I think a plumber horror movie would be pretty cool. Like
it's about this plumber that just like shows up and won't leave and starts tearing their house apart. The guy that Peter Weir directed it.
Cleaning the shit up. That's right. Good stuff. All right. So
optometrist.
Oh, you know what would kill me, man? If there was one set in like in the fucking eye doctor, the optometrist, that would literally set me off, dude. That would fucking set me off. I couldn't handle that, dude.
Oh yeah,
dude, just
plenty of
plunging out eyes,
like eye scenes.
Oh my god, dude! There's no way I could handle that movie. There's no way I could get through it. It would be impossible for me.
It would be like the dentist, but with eyeball.
Yeah, dude. Even the dentist is like, well, we'll get into it in a minute, but
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's going to conclude the intro. We'll be back here with the Dentist 1 and 2 reviews shortly. Yo, who this?
Yo, Moodz, it's your boy, the ill-mannered funky child, calling you to remind you that the featured reviews on this episode contain spoilers.
Aw, yeah, man, that's right, brother. Thanks for the heads up, playa. Now go back to being an unproductive asshole.
Fuck you. I tell your listeners to stop being so dumb, silly, sensitive.
Yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, so getting into the featured reviews here on episode 261, The Dentist 1 and 2. I guess that's what it's called. Occupational Horror, Volume 1. I don't know. JP, what are you going to do with it?
I'm just calling it Dentist 1 and 2.
Yeah, Occupational is just too fucking long. He probably
technically could also be a Brian Yuzna spotlight.
It could be Yuzna. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so we're going to...
Burnson double feature.
Yeah, we'll call it the Corbin Bernstein show. Yeah, so we're going to take it back to the mid-90s, 1996, with the directed film from Brian Yuzna called The Dentist. Yeah, Brian Yuzna is one of those directors that, like, I always associate with doing sequels. I think it's pretty funny that he actually ended up doing his own sequel here. And then was slated, they greenlit the actual Dentist 3, but he was doing another project and it just never materialized. It's kind of a shame, actually, that he never did the third one, because I think that would have been
I talked to him a couple years ago, and he said that there was still talks of doing it.
With Bernstein?
Well, I don't know. I assume. Is he alive?
Yeah,
he's alive.
I think so.
Yeah, but Yuzna was saying that, it's something that he still wanted to do.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that, because it was greenlit right after, it would have been like, maybe 99. It would have been it would have had that same feel to it, because these films very much feel the same. But yeah, like in 89, he directed Society, which is a really bizarre film. And then, of course, he did the sequels, Bride of Reanimator and Beyond Reanimator. He's known for doing Return to Living Dead 3. Part 3, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. Which, as a Silent Night, Deadly Night sequel, it's not good at all. But it's a pretty interesting film, though. It's got cool effects and stuff. It's more of like an effect film, really.
It's like a body horror movie.
Yeah, it is body. It has nothing to do with the narrative that we all love to grow and love. It's so off kiltered, but yeah, he did The Progency. He did Faust, Rottweiler, which I actually kind of like that killer dog film. It's okay. It's got some cool stuff to it. So, but interesting.
He also wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is cool.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's right. Oh, he did one of the
That's really random. That's funny.
Necronomicon too, right?
He directed Necronomicon, and one of his a weird movie was Beneath Still Waters.
Oh, right. I forgot about that one. Right.
Which was 2005.
Yeah.
What is Amphibious? 2010.
I've never seen that one.
This looks like a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
It does. It totally does. He hasn't directed anything since 2011. Huh.
Maybe he threw in the towel.
Must have. Interesting. But yeah, he had a decent run there. I mean, I wouldn't say anything is like, top.
I'd say his best movie is probably The Dentist or probably Society.
I would say his best film would be Society. Yeah. I mean, my favorite is probably, I don't know.
I'm a big Dentist fan.
It's probably between Return to Living Dead Part 3 and even Bride of Reanimator. I like, honestly, man, I love Bride of Reanimator. I even like the third one. A lot of people don't really care for Beyond Reanimator, but I think it's actually really fun. But if I was going to say best, not favorite, yeah, Society. Probably the biggest budget he had anyways.
Yeah.
He also produced Ticks and Warlock.
Mm-hmm.
It's been all over the place.
Yeah, I know. He was a writer, producer, director. They kind of did all. Jack of all trades in the industry, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
He's a nice guy too.
Yeah. Actually, this was actually co-written by. Well, this movie was originally supposed to be directed by Stuart Gordon, right? Because I think Stuart Gordon was attached to direct this, and then he couldn't do it for some reason. And then Yuzna stepped in. That's why Stuart Gordon still has the writing credit on this movie. So that's pretty cool. But quick little synopsis: an extremely successful dentist goes off the deep end after he catches his wife cheating on him. All right, so our dentist played by Corbin Bernstein here. It's got some familiar faces. It's got Molly Hagan is in the film. Ken Foree plays the detective in the film. Linda Hoffman's also in the movie. She plays the wife. It's probably pretty much
Mark
what
Ruffalo.
Who's that?
A very young Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. He plays the talent agent guy.
Yeah, the agent.
Right. I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. And then Virginia Keeney, whatever. And she looks like she's like 14 in this movie. And she's like, I'd actually looked her up. She was 22 in this film. She's the girl in the film that's getting her braces off. Fuck, she was 22 in this movie. What?
Yikes.
She looks
they got like an actual kid. Yeah.
Dude, she looks like she's fucking 14 in this, man. It's so crazy. Like, man, she aged well. Holy fuck. I couldn't believe it, man. I looked her up. I was like, what the fuck? Because I couldn't remember where I knew her from. And then I realized she was in Pump Up the Volume. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
So that was a few years earlier. So she was younger than that. So she must have, I was like, I recognize her face. Like, where the fuck is she from? But I was always a big fan of Pump Up the Volume. So, so I'm assuming everyone has seen The Dentist before, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, this is no one's first time watch. Yeah. I've seen The Dentist a bunch of times. I was finally happy to see Vestron releasing, both these on Blu-ray and stuff. It was a long time coming, I felt like.
Yeah, because I own the DVD I have is from like 97 or 8 or something. Like it is an early ass DVD. And like it even like they used to make DVDs out of some kind of different plastic or something because you open an old DVD and it smells like plasticky.
Yeah. Yeah, and those original like run of DVDs like 97, 99. Yeah, they like the discs were better quality. It's weird.
Yeah, and they were like thicker cases. They didn't have like the eco cases.
The eco cases that wreck all your artwork when you get Amazon ships it in a bubble mailer and then there's fucking punctures in your artwork because the cases suck. Man.
Right.
Come on, dude. So bad. But yeah, like the old Anchor Bay cases, man, you could beat people to death with those things. They were fucking solid black cases, man. So, thoughts on The Dentist. Carly, what are your thoughts on The Dentist?
So this is technically a TV movie, right?
What?
It was a TV movie.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Technically, it says here that it was released directly to HBO, October 18th.
Really?
Really? Okay, that makes more sense.
I did not know that. Maybe that would explain because if HBO had the rights to this, that's probably why it took so long to come to fucking Blu-ray. Because HBO.
Well, I think it would have been. It was definitely just because Trimark or whatever, which is Lionsgate now. Lionsgate just didn't do a good job of they didn't license stuff out for the longest time. So that's why like Scream Factory or Arrow or nobody ever released it. And then Felsher created the Vestron label, which was like intend to release like Lionsgate's vault titles because they own like Trimark and what was the other company that they own?
It wasn't Orion.
I think. I don't remember, but Lionsgate had a few subsidiaries that they bought back in the day.
Cool.
Yeah, it probably makes sense because it took so fucking long for all tons of the shit that they owned.
That was the other.
Oh, Artisan.
I remember Artisan. Yeah.
Yeah, Trimark and Artisan were like the two main ones that I remember. Are under Lionsgate.
Did Vestron release this VHS back in the day? Did this come out on VHS or Vestron? I don't know. I can't remember. Like I can picture the VHS tape, but I can't remember who released it.
Vidmark released it.
Yeah. Interesting. Carly,
which was a Trimark subsidiary.
Right. I always get these things all fucked up. You're better with that shit than I am, man. All the sub labels and who was connected to what and shit. Like it used to confuse the shit out of me. So it wasn't confusing. It was hard to remember, to be honest.
Yeah, there was some like odd title, like the Warlock films came out through there, the Leprechaun movies, Return of the Living Dead 3, Pinocchio's Revenge, which we still haven't seen.
Yeah, Pinocchio's Revenge is terrible.
I love it.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Carly, what are your thoughts on The Dentist?
The Dentist. I've only seen this like once when I was a little kid, like on TV, and then bits and pieces after that. So I've seen it, but it was pretty loose in my memory. I always remember like, the part where the wife is like laying there with the hat over her head. That was always like a part that stuck out to me, and then he takes it off and whatnot. But yeah, I think this is a pretty solid movie for that time period. It made me cringe a lot because I do feel I need to go to the dentist soon, so this probably wasn't a good choice of movie to watch. And it's a great concept because it's like no one likes to go to the dentist. It's probably more feared than the actual, just doctor. And I think they do a pretty good job with like the effects and stuff, and like the close-ups of teeth and just the bloodiness. It's very bloody. Yeah, and I just like watching this guy kind of like lose his shit and slowly, kind of descend. And because, like I said, I couldn't really remember it. And I told JP, like watching it, I'm like, is this even a slasher? Because like so far, only like one thing's been killed, and it was an animal. And then it's like not till the end that he really kind of like goes ape shit. But I liked it. It kind of reminded me. It gave me vibes of like the Stepfather type of just nutball. And then especially when you get into part 2 as well. But yeah, I thought it was a really fun time. So
it's interesting that you say like the Stepfather, because Corbin Burnson's performance reminds me a lot of Terry O'Quinn in the Stepfather. It's kind of nuts, actually.
Interesting. I never actually put that correlation together, but
especially in part 2. Like part 2 reminds me of like a Stepfather 2 clone,
right?
Like, he's like going to a new life and small town and stuff. Yeah,
the Dentist is one of those weird movies. Like, you feel like it should have a higher body. Like, you feel like it should have a higher body count to it.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of carnage in this film, and then you look at like the fucking the body count total, and there's like 3 people officially die in this movie, and a dog. But there's like so much carnage in this film where a couple of characters just don't die, right? Like
there's just like cringe scenes, like the little boy, like that's messed up, like him like hurting his you just make him bleed, and then he doesn't die. Like
the boy doesn't die. The wife, like there's a lot of shit that goes on with the wife. Like she gets all fucking mangled. But like, what's actually kind of crazy is like, that I always thought was interesting is like the tax dude that tries to blackmail him doesn't in theory die in this movie. But like he fucks him right up. Like he fucks his mouth. He ruins that dude, but he doesn't die. Like there's literally only 4 deaths in this movie, and one of them's a dog.
Yeah, it's not it's definitely like the slasher aspects are secondary for sure.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that one of the deaths actually is a straight up slasher moment. He literally slashes a dude with a knife like 6 times. It's kind of funny, right?
Yeah, it's weird because like the kills aren't even really dental. It's like his employees. He just starts like you said, like a regular old slasher type thing. So you would think it would be all him just like ripping out teeth and like that'd be how he kills people, but it's really like he mutilates a lot of people. They don't die, and then the people that do die are the ones he just like strangles or stabs or whatever.
It's the lesser of the evil, right? Like, I mean, he kills the one girl with the pantyhose that he rips off the model, and he gives the one assistant a fucking needle with a bubble in it, and so it's like they're bloodless. It's weird, right? The deaths are like the most tame parts of the film, where there's so much teeth carnage in this and shit. And I think they do a pretty good job with the effects on it though too, like building these huge molds and the way they filmed it and stuff. Like it's honestly, it makes me cringe. Cool aspect
of it is like they build like a lot of practical like giant like mouths to show, to be able to do stuff. And then I think that the effects are like one of the strongest aspects of this movie.
Yeah, two strong. Well, I think the 3, like this movie is actually a lot better than I even remembered it to be. Like from a spec standpoint, like And Corbin Bernstein's performance is really good. Like he's super believable as this fucking batshit fucking dentist. Like he's just had it. Like, you know, obviously his job has affected him as a person too, because he's so into his work, and it's like the decay, and like that's the metaphor for like, you know, even life and shit like that too, right? Like everything is like, you know, the decay. I need to do this, you know. And of course, his wife cheating on him just sets him off and shit like that. But
yeah, and he definitely has like a OCD like tendencies, and I love the psychological aspect of the movie. Like, I think that's the strongest point of the movie, is where he's like, you know, goes into these like delusions, and like the scene where he's like molesting the model is like so uncomfortable. Like when he sticks his like finger in her mouth and stuff like that. And then whenever she starts coming to, and he's like trying to like do up her shirt, and then her like stockings are off.
Well, yeah, because he's visioning his wife in that scene, right? And he's molesting her at the same time. But like, and then he comes to and he's like, "Oh shit, that's not my wife." Like, it's fucking bad shit, dude. Like, but like, yeah, between his performance, the score is really good in this movie. I love the playful score in the beginning of the film. It's awesome. It really fucking works. The effects are super strong in this film. But my favorite aspect of this film is the disjointed character of itself in the cinematography. The cinematography in this movie is a character in itself. I don't know if you guys notice how like unhinged the contrast between Corbin Bernstein's character and the cinematography is. They shoot a lot of scenes like off kilter. There's a lot of like off kilter shots, different angles used and shit, and it really plays into the psyche of the character, right? So it's kind of like this contrast between what you're seeing and what you're seeing, right? And it's really like interesting. Real, like, fast. Yeah, because they Yoooooo managed to capture an entire film that feels like you're in a dream, but it's set in reality, right? It's so jarring to watch. And that's what the cinematography does. He shoots from all these angles that are just not natural. And it's creating this whole character in itself. And I just absolutely loved watching this movie. I was like, wow, this is really good, because if you're going to have this character that's so unhinged and he's lost his shit, and like, if you do know anything about dentists, they actually have a really, really high suicide rate. So this kind of makes sense for a dentist, you know, to go fucking batshit crazy and start killing people and shit, because, you know, apparently they off themselves more than anybody besides like air traffic control people, right? For professions. Like, it's actually a real stat.
Yeah, I had read that before.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So like, making a movie about a dentist that goes off the deep end is kind of made sense to me, really. But like the way his performance is with the cinematography, it goes hand in hand, and it works so fucking well to me. Like, this is a really underrated movie in terms of being actually good. Like, it's not just a fun 90s, you know, throwaway slasher. It's a really well made film that's acted well and shot well. It sounds good. It looks good. Like, it's a really good movie, man. I'm impressed.
Well, this movie, this actually like the third time we've like really got into The Dentist. We actually covered this on Short-Lived Burial Grounds show that we used to have. The live show. I think it was the last episode that we did. Honestly.
That is so crazy, dude, because I completely 100% forgot about that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was me, you, Steve, and Clive Craven, I believe.
Yeah, it was Clive, yeah.
Yeah. So that was back in like 2012 or 13, right before it was right before we started 22 Shots.
Yeah.
And then of course we covered it in 96 as well. Because I think it made 3 out of the 4 of our top 10 list. It was on mine, yours, Dave Z's, and not Brandon's because he's lame.
You know, I think I've seen this movie, I don't know, maybe 6-7 times. I don't know. This is probably my favorite time I've had with it, though. Like, I don't know if it was just how good the transfer was, like the Vestron Blu-ray. Like, it looked really good.
Probably helps.
It probably helps. But like, probably. I was like, wow, these effects are really, really good. Like, everything about it. But I could not stop, you know, with the cinematography and like the atmosphere this film created. Like, it looks really good. It's awesome. I think it's got a great feel
also, to it. It has it has that sort of and they did this really well in the 90s. It has the like midday, like the sunlight coming in from the windows and like sort of like the dust in the air sort of like captured in the rays of the sun.
Yeah.
They do that a lot in this movie, and it almost gives it like a dreamy, like a fever dream type thing going on.
Yeah.
And also I think that setting it in like this upscale LA home was kind of a cool thing, because it added to his like OCD and like his sort of like big timey nature of like this successful dentist practice, but he's like crazy. He starts going crazy because his like hot wife starts fucking the pool guy, which seems kind of realistic. And also it kind of is a cool contrast with part 2, because it takes it out of like LA. I just think the LA setting kind of worked for this one. And then also like, I think Ken Foray, man, he doesn't get enough roles like this, but I think he's like great as like a detective.
Yeah.
It made sense before he was in the film too, because he's got the connection with Stuart Gordon and like all these cats and stuff, right? It just kind of made sense to me. But yeah, you're right. Like he plays the character great.
Yeah.
He's super great. But Mason, what are your thoughts on The Dentist?
As far as a slasher fan, it's not like high up on my list, but I respect it on a technical level, and Corbin Burnson steals the movie. I think it's a really good character study. I'm a big fan of Major League, so of course I like him from that movie, which is celebrating its 35th anniversary. Shout out to Major League. Great fucking movie.
Wild thing.
Did you feel like they were like kind of making a soft reference to her when they started talking about baseball, and you were just like, I despise baseball?
Maybe.
Totally. Never even thought of that, man. That's a good one.
That's like the first thing I thought of, and I giggled when I was watching it this time.
Perhaps, man. And I love Brian Usna. Big fan of Society, Return of the Living Dead 3, Faust, even Silent Night, Deadly Night. All the series, like number 4, 5, all that stuff. It has the signature Usna effects, and I really like the music. It kind of reminds me of like Full Moon music.
A little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
The composer is his name's Alan Howarth, and he's done movies like The Thing, Christine, They Live, Big Trouble in Little China, and Halloween 2 through 6. So he's got some reps as far as composing.
So is that just a pseudonym for Carpenter?
John Carpenter.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
What the fuck?
So yeah, it's good. I mean, it's not one that I really care to rewatch too often, but it has good effects. I don't know.
Tyler, I feel it. Did you hate it?
No, Tyler was next. What's your thoughts on it?
Tyler.
Pissing what?
This fucking guy.
Okay, well, where the fuck did he go? Just like real quick, JP.
I forgot I was muted.
Come on, wait.
You were just talking 2 fucking seconds ago. Why'd you mute yourself?
Because I opened a beer.
Shut up, Tyler. What'd you say, Carly?
Wasn't that guy at Creature Feature 2? Wasn't that the guy like doing the concert or whatever?
Oh yeah, I think that was him. We
didn't watch it, but he was actually he was.
Oh, that's cool.
Performing.
That's cool.
Oh my god.
Sorry, go on.
So the Canucks scored with 6 seconds left to tie the game, and then they scored in overtime.
Shut the fuck up! They pulled out the win. Oh my god!
And it just like had a zoom in of a little like National Predators fan, like a little kid like crying in his shirt, and they were just lingering on him. Like what?
He was probably a fucking.
They deserve that. If you're gonna fucking get on with
when I said they're wrapping it up. There was 2 minutes and 45 seconds left, and they were up 3-1.
Dude, that's bad.
Wait, 3-1?
Yep. And then with 6 seconds, they scored with a little under 3 minutes left, and then they blew it with 6 seconds left. They scored.
You deserve to lose that entire series.
And then they immediately lost going into overtime.
Yeah. My God, that's pathetic. Well, Nashville, you just blew that shit hardcore.
What about some chokes?
Yeah.
So, anyways, The Dentist, Tyler.
Yeah, no, I didn't hate this movie. I seen this.
Like we have to start off every rant with, "Well, I didn't hate it."
I didn't hate this one.
No, well, he said
it's no Criterion release, but
I've seen this once before, and I kind of thought it was just like, all right. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more, but I still like kind of see where, I can see why I thought this was all right the first time. The best stuff to me is definitely like you guys are saying about like the model teeth that they had and like the close-ups with like it bleeding and with like all the bleeding. That stuff like that's the stuff that like gives you like nightmares going to the dentist your whole life.
Yeah, it actually is like a perfect idea for a horror movie because most people go to the dentist.
Nobody I just went to the dentist like about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I can't stand dentist, man. But.
And isn't it weird how we call the dentist like the dentist, and it's like it's not a dentist.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because like you mostly go there for cleanings and you talk with like the dental hygienist for most of the time. The dentist comes in and checks over your teeth and it takes him 12 seconds and gets paid like $100,000. You know what I mean? Like the dentist doesn't really do anything, but like it's the hygienist that cleans your shit.
Themselves.
Yeah, it's fucked. It's so weird.
They're killing themselves for being rich for doing nothing.
I think I'm kind of with Mason, where like I was kind of craving a bit more violence with this. That really.
Well, I think there's a lot of violence and carnage in this film. There's just the lack of actual kills is staggering because
it's just
when you
like
watch the film, you feel like there's a lot.
Yeah. Like you get good results. Like you see like the results. Like he like that. Like the guy blackmailing him looks like he was awesome at the end. Like after he like tears him up, it's like I almost like wanted to. Like you said, I guess I wanted more kills, but I kind of just wanted more carnage in a little bit. Like, but it wasn't really that type of movie. Like there's a level of hokiness to it, but I think you kind of do need that when you're making a movie about like a killer dentist. Like it's supposed to be fun, and like that is something they definitely capture. It's just like this is like a really like kind of perfect like snapshot of just like 90s like pop culture. Like this just feels like a video store movie. And,
90s, video store. Yeah, for sure.
And now hearing that it was like direct to HBO, like this sounds like the same company, that like was like putting on Tales from the Crypt.
That's what it felt like to me, man. Renting this thing back in the 90s just felt like, oh, there's a movie called The Dentist. Of course there is.
Like it's got this
you got to rent that.
Enough calling card with like the dentist. That's why I always say like I think slashers like want to like the best slashers to me are like the ones that just like kind of go a little bit over the top and have like a gimmick like really helps.
Mm-hmm.
And it sets it apart and like makes it like more memorable. And I think like this movie is like all gimmick and like Corbin Bernsen just like does like such a good job. At any time he's given the role of like kind of like the cranky or like uptight old man. He was on a TV series a few years after this, Psych, that ran for like almost a decade, where he played like the dude's dad. He was like a retired cop, and he's wicked funny in that. Like you see, he's obviously like not as like intense as he is in this, but he's like kind of like a more mellow version. The whole like going psych, his character kind of reminded me of like Jack in The Shining, where like he's crazy like right from the beginning, and he's like the first thing to like tip him off. Like he's already right. Sorry, he's like already ready to kill his wife before anything.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I felt like he was channeling. In part 2, there's a few points where I'm like, I feel like he's channeling Jack Nicholson in this a little bit.
Well, there's a total shout out to The Shining in part 2 when he fucking cuts through the drywall and pops his head through the fucking hole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, was it? Yeah.
That's totally The Shining. That's totally a fucking shout out to The Shining right there. Yeah. So that's funny that you bring that up because I was going to mention that, but
it's a fun movie. It's a cult classic. It's just something like you gotta see. Like it's total. If you're a horror fan, it's a total bucket list movie. Like there's a ton of movies like this that are, pretty decent, but there's something that's just like unique enough and fun enough about them that they're just like they're enjoyable.
Yeah, the one of my favorite aspects of this film is probably the fact that it gets right into it. Like in the first 5 minutes, like he's ready to fuck his wife up. Like it's crazy. There's no downtime in this movie really whatsoever. Like it's just. There's no character build up for him, like, going from kind of normal to like, this is all the shit that's making him fucking crazy and react like this. It's like, no, the movie starts where he's already fucking had enough. And then the wife cheating on him was just the icing on the cake, and he goes over the top and he takes
Dude, that guy with like the earrings and the bandana. Oh my God. Like it's so of the time.
Yeah. This, like, I mean, it runs just over 90 minutes, but like, I feel like it's just, there's always something going on. Yeah, it goes by real fast. Like unlike which is probably my biggest complaint about the second one. Like the second one's a little bit longer, but I feel like there's way more downtime in the second one, and like there's just things that are happening that just aren't as fun. But like this one, it just gets into it right away, and it's just like, holy fuck, man! Like Jesus, like this guy's fucking crazy as shit. But like I think it's playing to the fact of like, you know, how dentists are very high strung, and you know, and they just tend to do crazy shit like kill themselves and stuff. So I mean, I don't know. It just seems realistic to me. Not realistic in terms of like, you know, the average dentist is going to go out there and start mutilating people's mouths and shit like that. But you know what I mean? So just knowing the history of what dentists obviously are capable of doing and stuff, I don't know. It seems like, seems plausible to me. Anyways, one of my favorite moments in this film, in the beginning of the movie, actually, I want to touch on this though. Like, I remember years ago watching this movie, I thought it was going to be like a straight up horror comedy. Obviously, it's got dark comedic tones to it. You know, it's got some, but it doesn't overdo it at all with the comedy in this at all, in my opinion. Like, I don't think it
overdo it. That's the thing. Like,
I don't think it's goofy at all.
I think it's definitely got like that goofy, like dark humor.
No, it has that dark humor, but it's not like that silly goofy shit, you know, that's going on. You know,
sometimes like movies like go too far with that, and I don't like it when it's like.
Well, this one manages to keep its tone very, very straight lined. You know what I mean? Like it's got that dark kind of fantastical humor to it and stuff like that. But like, there's this great fucking scene in the film where he's talking to his wife before he's going to head out the door, and he's like, "You've been smoking." She's like, "No." And then I don't know if his reaction is the fucking best. He kind of looks at her, and then he kind of like licks his teeth, and he's like, "Now I got to brush my teeth again," just because she was talking to him. It sums up his whole fucking character. He's batshit insane. So the smoke on her breath is tainting his teeth. I fucking love that, dude. That is such a great part. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Because that part's awesome.
Yeah,
I thought that was so fucking funny. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this guy's batshit insane. But it really that's like in the first like 5-7 minutes of the film. And it kind of sets the stage to, this guy's insane. So, but yeah, good stuff though.
I like later in the movie when his like front desk late receptionist manager, whatever, she's like, "Yeah, I'm the manager here. Nothing gets past me," while someone's like literally getting murdered in the back. Yeah. So yeah, little things. And then I also just like how that one girl with the braces, it's like the whole movie she just wants those braces off, and she's been waiting so patiently.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. Like, you throw in those type of comedic tones into the film that are like haha, but they're not like goofy, stupid and shit like that. It's like, we obviously get, you know, that she's missing everything that's going around there. That's cool. It's set up nice. So what is the deal? Like, I've always said this before, like in these movies with crazy people, why the fuck is it always that like crazy people are listening to opera music? What is the deal with that?
Yeah, that's just, I'm kind of like over that trope.
What is that? Like, where the fuck did that ever develop from? Like, it seems like everybody that is like batshit insane listens to fucking opera.
Genius? I don't know.
The earliest example I can think of that is like, I'm probably wrong, but like A Clockwork Orange is like the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but it has been a trope for so long.
Yeah,
and
like it's
something
not
that people
like
don't. It just doesn't get brought up a lot. But like, why is it that it's opera? Is it just because it's like elevated, and so a lot of these insane people are thought to have like super high IQs, and the people with high IQs like listen to opera music?
Yeah, I think it's like just like the juxtaposition that like you're also gonna put like violence and like horror in front of like this music, but it's also like implying,
they're not
like,
out listening and shit.
Yeah, it's just like also implying like this person's like intelligent to just like feel the music. Like, all right, hipster.
So it's that, you know, like you're a dentist, so you're super smart, so you listen to opera because you got an elevated IQ and stuff like that.
It's
like,
just like, it kind of just feels like a lazy trope at this point. I'm not gonna lie.
Only somebody as crazy as Corbin Bernstein's character could be rolling down the street and find a fucking radio station that's playing opera 24/7. What?
Yeah, see, like the thing is, I don't feel like it even really fit his character.
Yeah, I mean,
like I would have like,
it definitely fit his character.
No, I mean, he's pretty pretentious.
I think it would have been like, he's having like a breakdown though. Like, I think it would have been like I think it would have been even if it was like
he
better.
talks
I
about
think it would have been
solitude.
better if he was like driving around like listening to like 70s like hair metal or something.
But he talks about like the solitude, like he's crazy in terms of like, you know, what he's trying to develop too. Like, I mean, look at his doctor's office. Like he's got all these special rooms. He's got like the rainforest room for the kids, and he's got like he's got this room for these patients and stuff like that. Like it all plays into it. Super pretentious. I'm actually quite surprised, Tyler, that you're not listening to opera right now.
I don't listen to opera
because you're pretty damn pretentious.
Tyler rides around listening to fucking scores from Criterion movies.
Honestly, I do drive around listen to scores, but it's usually not Criterion movies.
Usually it's Top Gun.
I did listen to that for a while.
Dude, who rolls around listening to I can't roll around listening to scores, man.
I listen to a lot of Ennio Morricone.
That is hell yeah. You are so beyond pretentious. Only like the most pretentious people in the fucking world roll around listening to Ennio Morricone.
Just like I wonder if my neighbors think I'm like psychotic. Like I'm driving home like
Halloween,
like fucking
You're
ecstasy
legit
and
American
gold.
Psycho.
Yeah,
man, that is funny as hell.
I love listening to scores, dude.
Like I could just imagine me pulling up to a fucking light, and I see Tyler next to me. He's listening to fucking, you know, Ennio Morricone, and I'm
like,
bumping.
That's the great silence.
And I've got fucking Ice Cube bumping in the car. Like we are on polar ends of the.
I listen to the Day of the Dead soundtrack in the car, dude. That one rips.
Howard Shore's got
you guys are crazy.
This was a good score.
Day of the Dead score is actually really good, man. It's really fucking
all
good.
these scores are good. Nobody, it's just weird.
We're not bumping.
And one of my favorites, man, is Zombie 3. Zombie 3, man. Oh, dude, the score for Zombie 3 is so good. Fucking awesome, man.
Carly's over here listening to Tupac, and Tyler's over here listening to fucking
Ennio Morricone.
Upon a Time in the West score.
Dude, you will never catch me listening to anything but fucking. I'm always bumping hip hop in the vehicles, but yeah. Yeah, so did I have anything else I wanted to say on this? No. I mean, who wants to start with ratings? Carly, we started with you. What's your rating?
All right. Yeah, I really enjoyed this more than I thought I was going to. Because, yeah, I thought it was going to be like super hokey and over the top as well. And like I said, I'd only seen it years ago, so I couldn't really remember. But it surprised me, and I just thought it had a lot of great carnage, and the lead performance was really good. So I actually am giving it an 8 out of 10.
Nice. Mason.
My rating's gonna go for a 6.5. It's a pretty okay film. It's hard to really point out its flaws, but I don't know. Again, it keeps it under a 7 because it's just not rewatchable like some others are. But it's really good. I don't know. 6.5 is gonna be my score.
JP.
Yeah, huge fan of The Dentist. It's I remember the very first time I watched it, I was like a little kid, probably back in like 2000 or something, and thought it was super creepy and just like weird, especially like the sexual stuff in there at the age, like you know, with the model girl. And then watching it like later in life, I remember I bought the DVD, like I said, that old one on eBay, like way back in the day, like one of the first titles I picked up. And it's always been like a regular go-to for me. Also in the 96 show, made my top 10. So pretty big fan of The Dentist altogether. And I give it an 8, fucker. An 8.
Wow.
Tyler.
It's solid. It's unique enough. It's fun enough, but it's not a masterpiece. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
Well, everything doesn't have to be a fucking masterpiece. I hate
you know what?
I hate when people fucking say, "Well, it's not a masterpiece."
Why does everything have to be a dentist going in?
Why does everything have to be? Why does everything
have to be a master? It doesn't have to be at all. But that's why it's 6.
It's no fucking Blue Velvet,
dude. Oh man, everything nowadays has to be either a masterpiece or it has to be the best.
Nothing has to be the best.
Why are people so concerned about what is the best thing out there?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's not a masterpiece. Like,
who cares what the best thing is?
Movies is comparing.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not comparing it to anything.
It's all objective, anyways. I mean, if that's why we talk in that's why I talk in favorites, because the whole best thing is the stupidest argument in the fucking world. There's no rules to it, so it's stupid.
I think it's the best horror movie about a dentist.
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
Masterpiece. I would imagine so.
It's a masterpiece in the dentist horror genre.
I also had The Dentist in my top 10 in 96, and I honestly like this watch. Probably my favorite watch of all time. Again, when you're watching movies with a critical eye, you tend to notice a little bit more things. And like, I noticed, the off-kilter shots and how, the cinematography is just contrasting the mentality of Corbin Bernstein's character so well in this film. And it manages to capture that, that daymare atmosphere. His visions are awesome. I mean, this movie's so unhinged from start to fucking end. It's so damn entertaining, but the end, honestly, the cinematography is really what sells it for me, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah, but forget about it because it ain't a masterpiece.
Yeah. So it's not a masterpiece. I'm going to come in at a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, it's not a masterpiece.
Fucking Tyler, Jesus Christ!
I give it a 6. I give it a good score.
I'm also at an 8 out of 10 on this one.
Holy shit! So basically, you had 3 smart people and 2 idiots on the show.
And I could be tempted to do a 7, but that'd be as high as I'd go.
Wait, didn't you have some full moon shit on your top 10 list, Mason?
Oh yeah, I did. I was biased because I had one of my favorite comedians.
I mean, for a film that just seems like it's a video store type film, man, this is a really well done film.
It's actually way better than you would think.
You think like, I mean, if
I wouldn't have thought this was a video store film.
Kind of gimmicky film or gimmicky titles to films, right? Like The Dentist is a very gimmicky film or title for a film because it's, it's a killer dentist, right? It's like, if you were to compare or put The Dentist versus Dr. Giggles, I'm taking A Dentist all day.
Yeah, I'd take A Dentist over Dr. Giggles.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Giggles has a couple good scenes. I love the scene where he rips himself out of the body. That's fucking pretty cool. That's a great scene as a kid or an adult, whatever it is, but that's cool. But yeah, Dr. Giggles, in my opinion, is a little bit overrated. People are always talking about Dr. Giggles. I'm like, fucking Dentist way better.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So anyways, that is The Dentist from 1996.
Dr. Alan Feinstone is back in business.
Just a small country practice.
Doing what he does best.
Want open wide?
He's practicing under a new name.
Jamie Devers and Dr. Lawrence Kane.
Hi.
Larry's just moved here to Paradise.
I think I'm gonna like it.
All right, so moving to 1998. And we've got the sequel also directed by Brian Yuzna. And it's simply called The Dentist 2. They did it properly. They just put a 2 in there. It's not gimmicky at all.
I'd rather just put the number there.
God damn it. This thing has the longest fucking write-up. Like, I haven't read it. I never read these things, but oh my God. Okay. Quick little synopsis, which is not quick. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Dr. Kane, the murdering dentist from the original movie. You guys get that? Right?
Dr. Kane.
Really? Who writes that? Okay, has escaped from the mental hospital where he has been since being caught. So spoilers. He doesn't die in the end of the film because there's a sequel and it's actually Corbin Bernstein. Okay. Hoping to resume a normal life, he makes his way to a quiet Midwestern town under a false name and takes on the responsibility of the town dentist. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not reading the rest of this.
There's more.
There's like 4 more lines. It just gets in, but that's all you need to know. So basically, yeah. So at the end of The Dentist, Corbin Bernstein's character, he ends up in a mental institution. And so this one picks up right where that one leaves off. And I'm assuming it's set in real time. I think they even mention it too. It's like a couple years later. He's been in there for a couple years later. And there's this really, really fucking awesome scene in the beginning of this film where he's talking to his therapist and how he breaks out. He actually fucking basically puts almost like a shank in his arm and he stitched it up. Mm-hmm. And he's talking to his therapist and he rips open the stitches and he pulls out this fucking shank. Yeah, and he basically takes her hostage, whatever, and he makes his way out of the hospital, ends up in the Midwestern town where he ultimately ends up assuming the identity, or he takes upon a different identity, of course, because he can't use his real name.
Which they actually explain it as if he was setting up this life, like back in his old life. Like he had a basically like a safety deposit box with like fake IDs and birth certificates and stuff like that. Which, I mean,
I wish they had went into that more, because I was a little bit. I've always been confused on why he already had that.
It was definitely shoehorned in to just make it plausible. At least they gave you a plausible exit plan.
Like, was he just foreshadowing the inevitability of him being batshit crazy one day, and he was going to have to change his identity or something? Because normal people would never go to those extreme lengths to do that shit.
So this is,
I think that partially it kind of almost makes a little sense because he had like tax problems in the other film. So
see, now that would have made sense if they mentioned the tax problems, because now that you mention that makes complete sense to me. And that's what we're going to stick with.
Wasn't there a tax guy that was in the first film?
This is a little bit of like 3D. I thought of
the tax guy in the first film tried to blackmail him. Remember, he's like, "Oh, it'd be cheaper to pay me than Uncle Sam," and then he fucks him up, and he didn't kill the tax guy, which I was kind of disappointed on that, because the tax guy was a piece of shit.
So hear me out about the new identity and like the site and like the hidden money is So he, like we said, he was psychotic from the first one, like already before anything happened, and he like very clearly is in this movie. So I was thinking it's possible he was gonna kill his wife anyway, and this was like his exit plan. He was gonna
I thought of it more as
I never thought of that.
I think of it more as like he's a rich asshole guy who basically has, you know, tax problems. So if shit went south, he could just take his money and, you know, relocate. I don't think it's that crazy to think that somebody,
but to actually have fake ID and a different identity already set up, like, it's crazy, because like you just, to go to those lengths, like, you know, shit's gonna hit the fan.
I don't think they thought of it like that far, and they just said, we're gonna make another movie, like, deal with it. And
well, duh, no shit.
Assume, and like most people, they probably wouldn't think into it.
But they do. But they do talk about, like, when he's talking to the bank manager, and he's like, "Yo, I haven't seen you in like 5 years." So like, he'd been down there.
Yeah,
like he obviously been there. And the guy,
I don't think it's that far of a stretch for a like rich person to do something like that. Like, I feel like,
I think it's definitely.
I just never got the idea that, like, or I never got the notion that, like, Corbin Bernstein, like, I understand he had tax problems, but he didn't come across to me as like a full-blown criminal. And when you're setting up like offshore accounts and like fake ID, like, that's like criminal activity shit, man. Like, you know, shit's going to hit the fan. So you need to go to this alternate route to, you know, save your life kind of thing. Right. I never really got that with this character. I just felt like he was batshit insane because of his like responsibilities were too high. And you, like, I mean, it's the stress factor, right? It's the whole stress factor that they play into in the first one. It's part of the commentary, but like, it's kind of a weird thing that, like, in this one, they, you know, he says, "Well, I haven't seen you in like 5 years." So he'd been down there. It's like, it's so fucking weird. It's like a strange thing.
It could have just been like a plan that he had to, because he hates like the decay of the city and stuff like that. It could have been just like something that he had planned before he snapped, where he just was like, one day I'm just gonna fucking take off and leave it all behind and go start a life.
I mean, he could have been smart and been like, you know what, my wife is really hot. She's eventually going to cheat on me. So I have a plan B. So we'll just chalk it up to that. Who knows, man? Who fucking knows? Because she was like a fucking some type of.
I don't know. It works fine enough. I'm not really worried about it.
It's a little awkward at first, because you're like, what? Like, it just, I don't know. It seems a little bit too convenient, but then when you talk about it in these aspects, like, it makes a little bit more sense, I guess. So give it a pass. It wasn't even a complaint of mine, to be honest, with this movie. So it's kind of funny that we're talking about that, but it wasn't even really a complaint.
We're gonna poke all the holes, and
I mean,
to the direct-to-video movie.
So when it comes to sequels,
it's not a masterpiece.
When it comes to sequels, you know, I've stressed a lot on this show. Me and JP have talked about this for years and years and years. And when it comes to sequels, my expectations is like, you know, you get a little bit more batshit crazy. You up the body count. You make, you know, more of an effects thing. Like, you outdo the first film. And I think like, even though this movie has more deaths in it, there's a lot more downtime in this, and there's a lot of shit that you're just like,
yeah, everything in this kind of felt like it was
narrative wise
from the first one. And I thought the narrative was kind of just shoehorned in.
The thing that I really don't like about this movie is like Corbin Bernstein's character is very similar to the first film. Like he's still that batshit crazy character, but like there's a point in this film where like he takes ownership of like, you know, the niece, and like it's just he's acting like a fucking woman himself. I shouldn't go to those lines, but like he's getting jealous. He's getting jealous of her when they're not even fucking dating. Like it's the weirdest part of the narrative that I've ever seen, because like they're literally not even in a relationship. They're just friends. You know, they're just kind of friends. He's renting from her and like they're friends and blah, blah, blah. She sees her with, you know, her high school or her, you know, childhood friend and stuff like that. And he becomes all jealous. But like the whole part of the narrative is, I guess it plays into how crazy he really is. But like he gets all jealous, but they're not even fucking dating at this point.
Yeah, but I think that's just sort of his like obsessive compulsive disorder.
But it comes off awkward. It comes off awkward because they have like no relationships in the movie at all.
I was talking. I find it more weird that how the girl reacts in the situation, where I feel like she almost acts as if they're in like that there's something more than there actually was shown.
You think
so? Like how she's all like telling him like how whenever like he finds out about Thanksgiving or whatever, and she's like, oh, I was like my parents died and I was like really lonely.
Oh, I know. Her explanations are totally unneeded. They're totally unneeded.
Yeah, it's like, I hate that whole plot. Like, and I guess the point is like that girl was supposed to look like his wife. So I think it's like he's pretty much playing the same character. He's still paranoid, thinking like, oh, I'm being cheated on again. I think he sees her as his wife, but I really just didn't care for that whole that whole love story element at all in this movie.
They fucked this whole thing up though too, because like they set up the film where one of the opening scenes is like the wife is recovered. She looks fine. She can't talk because she got her tongue cut out in the first film. Anyways, she's paying a PI to locate Bernstein's character or husband or strange husband. And so that happens right in the beginning of the film, and then you kind of forget about it. And then like he shows up like halfway through the film taking pictures and stuff and like, you know, asking questions and stuff. And it's like that whole part of the narrative is so fucking messy in this movie. And to make things worse, it just kind of ends with that. Like nothing even fucking happens with the PI. Like Bernstein doesn't end up killing him in the movie, which is such a shame. You know what I mean? Like that whole side story is so awkward in this movie. Like it doesn't even make a lot. I mean, it makes sense that you would try to locate him because like he broke out, blah, blah, blah. But like, do you guys even catch that? Like he doesn't even get killed in the film. He kind of like, he does this thing like up until about where the third act starts, and then he just disappears for the film. That's it. What the fuck?
Well, I found it kind of weird.
They didn't finish that story. Like
I find it kind of weird that he finds out about him like earlier on than you would expect. Yeah, like you almost expect for him to find out like right at the end, and then it to like, you know, him to die, or you know, him and the wife to kill Corbin or whatever. But it's like he finds out that where he is like a little early, and then it does feel like it. They kind of just super jarring subplot.
It doesn't even make a lot of sense to me, because like you get to a point where like, you know, he's at the bar and then he reports back, and then you got like this other receptionist, like she's all involved, and I'm not involved with him, but like she's doing her like own personal investigation because she doesn't believe that he was actually from DC and stuff. And this guy was claiming that he knew him from fucking, you know, Los Angeles and stuff. But like that thing just kind of ends, and like he disappears, and like you never see him again in the film. It's so fucking weird. Like you would think that you would write in a scene where he gets involved into the fight and stuff, and then Bernstein eventually probably kills him or something like that. But it doesn't. It comes down to this really awkward scene where his fucking mute wife is like fighting against him with his new interest. And oh man, dude, this movie's a mess. It's fucking messy, dude. It's so messy.
Yeah. Well, I think that, dude,
like it's almost funny, man. When you're watching this, you're like,
this one definitely has like more, like it's more tongue in cheek, I feel. And I feel like they sort of amped up the whole like I'm crazy dentist guy a little bit, and like really he leaned heavier into that role. But one of my favorite parts actually of this movie is just the whole interaction with the other dentist. like how he's just all pissed off that he's not a good dentist. And
well, right at the beginning. I mean, I would be pissed off too if I went there to get a cap done and it fucking didn't stick.
Well, yeah.
Dude, that was a funny thing throughout the movie. Like, damn thing just won't stay.
Yeah.
Bullies him out of his own office.
So that's I mean, I'm glad you brought up the old dentist thing, because like that's one part of the narrative that again is super confusing to me, because like he doesn't go to this small town to take over the dentist practice. He ends up killing this dentist, the only dentist in the town, but then doesn't want the fucking job. Like they had to like kind of coerce him into like taking the job and shit like that. I'm like, so he goes over there obviously because he did a shit job and stuff. He ends up killing him, but his intentions weren't what you think they are. He doesn't want to. I get the sense that he's actually trying to not be crazy early on. Of course, that's exactly what it is. But you think in this narrative where he'd be like, okay, so, I mean, if you're going to kill the only dentist in town, what's going to happen when everyone knows you're a dentist? You got to take over the fucking job.
The dentist,
exactly, man.
But I don't think he thought that through. He just was pissed off that this dentist did a shitty job. So his compulsion was to kill him and not really think about the consequences, which is,
I don't know. I think he's so far gone.
Listen, if you're not thinking of the consequences of going to prison for the rest of your life, you're surely not thinking about like, oh, they might ask me to be the dentist if I kill this guy.
I think the problem, the audiologist or something.
Well, yeah, exactly. See, the thing is like with him though, is like that was like his fear, right? Like I feel like I get what you're saying though. I mean, you kill him, you don't want to become a dentist, blah blah blah. But like it was his fear was to become, because being the dentist is what led him down this path of destruction, right? So I mean, I guess I don't know.
But then he's like,
it more so was his wife cheating on him that.
Then he felt like he could redeem himself too. He's like, okay, I can do that. Like when he does finally become the dentist, he's like, maybe I can, he kind of is into it. He's like, I could be a good dentist here again.
Yeah, because it's all because the his love interest, she needed a teeth like that and stuff. Yeah. So, but I mean, I honestly think that in the first film, him getting pushed over the edge was the cheating, but I think at that point he was already batshit insane.
Well, yeah,
he already had enough.
Sort of is like it's just his breaking point. But I think the drywall guy, I think it's funny that they kind of made him look similar to the pole guy, so it instantly like sort of triggers the dentist.
It's funny, man. I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, this guy's the fucking pool guy, but he's the drywall guy. It's so fucking funny. He's mentioned. I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's like he kind of looks like the same type of dude that the pole guy was, which is just like you can't escape these fucks.
Right. He's like stuck in this realm of all these fucking, these evil characters to him, right?
It's just like these hunky, like fucking
man. Yeah.
like blue collar guys that just
very of the time.
Oh, dude, there was one point in this film where I think one of the characters says something about, this character being out to lunch. And I instantly thought of Parker, because he's like, what the fuck is with Canadians and always using the term like out to lunch? So Bernstein says at this one point, he's like, yeah, your reception is out to lunch in more ways than one. And I fucking bursted out laughing this morning. I was like, oh my God, that's fucking hilarious. Like Parker would die at this right now, because he's like, what's with Canadians and always saying fucking out to lunch? He's like, what the hell does that even mean? I mean, it means you're fucking crazy. It means you're fucking crazy. But I just think it was funny. It was actually used in this film. So does anyone remember that part when he's like, yeah, she's out to lunch in more ways than one?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny, actually.
I mean, he tortures the hell out of that one girl. It's actually disturbing. So there is that, like that lady who pretty much becomes the private detective and does more work than the detective. Like that part, like made me cringe.
Dude, he destroys her, man. Oh, it is awful to watch, man. It
gets kind of tortury.
It does, man. You know what I was thinking? Like the scene where Clint Howard shows up randomly in this film, which was kind of a cool, I guess, cameo
he just
thing.
randomly recognizes him.
Yeah, and but you know, he basically gets cast to get killed. It's hilarious, but
yeah,
I was thinking to myself too. I was like, man, Clint Howard would have played a good dentist too.
Yeah. An ice cream man.
Yep, exactly. So who hasn't said their piece on this film? Mason, what are your thoughts on The Dentist 2?
Pretty much very similar to the first one, but slower, like you mentioned. Some comparisons with like Psycho 3, which kind of, that seems legit, like someone who wants to start fresh, but he's actually just really crazy. So it's like impossible for him to do. So that made sense. It does have the same cinematographer as classics like Slumber Party Massacre Part 3 and Sorority House Massacre Part 2. So I thought that was cool. And I really like the ending of this one. And the poster, the white poster, is legendary as far as like video store, like VHS covers. So it's aight.
Yeah, I do like that. It's like, I like sequels like this that feel like just a complete continuation of the first movie. Like Moodz said, like if they did a part 3, you probably wouldn't feel like this now because it's so much time has passed. But this movie just feels like completely, just watch them back to back and it's a fun time. But yeah,
I just
it's fun.
felt like the most like missed thing about this is like gave him a lot of material to just like have like complete meltdowns in the first movie, which was like kept it kind of entertaining and exciting. And I felt like there was too much downtime in this of like them try to just build this like more deep psychotic character. And I don't think that's like the type of movie this really wanted to be.
Yeah, this one takes way too long to get going. Like we already know the character. So like why the fuck does it take so long to get shit going? I mean, I guess you gotta change up a little bit and stuff, but like he just like they wrote this character as like even more of a piece of shit. Like there's one of the funniest scenes in the film is the scene where he the fucking Time magazine scene. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When he says a receptionist, he's like,
it's out of date.
He's like, Desert Storm ended in 1991. What year is it? That means this is out of date. And he starts fucking whipping magazines.
She's all calm. She's like, I think I should go. I'd be like, bro.
I'd be like, bro, get the fuck out. Get the fuck away from me, weirdo.
There's a funny scene too, like right at the end of the scene where all that carnage shit happens and they're throwing this party for him and stuff. And he comes down, he's all covered in blood and shit. And she's like, oh, but they're updated magazines. And she's like trying to hand him these like new Life magazines. Oh, fuck. That shit made me laugh today, man. Fucking so funny.
That actually is funny. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I called that scene with the redheaded private detective thing, the tooth torture scene, man, because that was fucking dude. Like again, visually this movie looks very similar to the first one. Like I think it's like the same people involved. Cinematography, like it's the same thing. Like they shot the angles off kilter, to kind of contrast his fucking mentality and stuff like that. I really like that. Like the two movies are the exact same, but totally different in terms of enjoyment. Like this one I find runs way too long. It's almost 100 minutes. Sure. It takes way too long to get going. There's this love interest that's so off kilter and just bizarre to me. Like it's uninteresting, to be honest. The whole thing with the PI and stuff is super jarring, out of left field. Like it doesn't wrap itself up. It's weird to me. There's a lot of little things in this movie that I do like. Like we alluded to the Shining shout out, in the first review. There's this really great scene in the end of the film where he's cutting open the drywall and he peeks his head through and he says some fucking shit. And I'm like, oh fuck, that's totally a call out to Jack right there. So, good stuff. I like that scene. It's cool. But the whole end battle with the two women and stuff is like, what the fuck? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like, it feels throwaway to me, man. It really does. You know, I mean, I don't like completely dislike this movie. I just think it's so much steps down, like narrative wise. Even though it has a higher body count, it's still like, it's weird. It has a higher body count, but it feels like it has less carnage in it. If that makes any sense.
I feel like I can't remember. Yeah, I can't even like, remember.
The kills are like not that impressive.
Yeah, it's weird. So, I mean, probably the best scene is when he smashes the fucking the drywall pool guy in the head with the hammer. That looked pretty gnarly. Like, man, the brains hanging out there and shit, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was one good effect there and shit, but otherwise, I mean, it feels to me steps down from the first one, but
yeah, I would agree with that.
JP, what do you got on this?
Yeah, I agree. It feels like a few steps down. It leans more into like the absurdity of it than the first one is like more a little serious. I think the love aspect is probably like the worst part to me, but I kind of get why they do it because it is like such a trigger for him. And then I actually really like the small town like flannels and stuff. Like he just starts wearing flannels. He goes from wearing like suits and shit to the flannels, and it's just
put that hat on when he's done hitchhiking.
Yeah. And that twangy score that they have for the small town feel.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's pretty decent. Are we in ratings right now?
I mean, if you want to, I mean, Carly started, who would be Mason first, but no, you were just giving your spiel on it.
Oh yeah, I think it's pretty decent. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but it's not a bad sequel. Got some problems.
You know what's actually a really weird scene is the final scene in this film where I feel like it's kind of like a shout out to fucking Pinhead, like Hellraiser. He's got all the nails in his fucking head and shit. Yeah. I was totally getting the Hellraiser vibes and stuff, but like the tone of that scene,
so weird.
It goes so it's again, I throw another dollar in the jar, but it's so jarring because like the movie definitely has more of a silly tone to it, but like that scene right there, it's so goofy. It just goes out of like, it goes way goofy left field. Like he's laughing hysterically and just like, what the fuck? But I was thinking to myself after it ended, I was like, I would have loved to have seen what he looked like in part 3 because he had fucking 45 fucking nails in his head. You know what I mean? Like, would he been all fucked up and shit? Like, I don't know. It's such a shame that they never made the third one around that time, but yeah. Anyways, ratings?
Yep.
Word.
Who went for Carly? Mason? I think Mason was second. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, technically this one isn't as good as the first one. I mean, the first one has a sharper narrative, but the way that part 2 wraps up amps up the absurdity kind of keeps it on the level as entertainment for me, and they'll give it a 6.5.
JP?
Yeah, this one to me not as good, but I do enjoy this one. Like I remember watching it on like Chiller. You guys remember the TV channel Chiller back in the day?
Yep. Yeah, that was the best.
Yeah, it was. It used to run on there all the time, and both of them, and I would watch them back to back. And like, I have a soft spot for it. I don't think it's like incredibly made. Definitely not a masterpiece. But you know, not a bad follow up. And it's a fun character. I like spending time with him. I would have liked to see a third one done in the year 2000 or whatever. But yeah, I'll give it a 6.5 as well.
Tyler.
Yeah, it's not horrendous, but everything from the first one is pretty much toned down, and it's a little bit overly longer than it needs to be. It kind of misses the tone a little bit. I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
This movie actually has my favorite shot of the two movies, though. There's a scene where he steps out of his cottage and he's walking towards like I always forget her name, the love interest in this film. I'll call her the niece. What was her name? Jamie in the film? Yeah, I think it was Jamie. And he's walking towards her place, and there's this great shot. Like I love these type of shots where, you know, the character's walking up towards like the fourth wall and the shot is from the ground up and like the moon's above his head and stuff. And it's got this really kind of awesome atmosphere and shit like that. But it's like a random scene. Like they just shot this like so amazing. And I was like, okay, that's fucking sweet. And then it gets all goofy and shit. Just like, what the fuck? But I don't know. I really love that scene though. Like he's walking towards and it's shot from the ground up. I love that type of angles in cinematography and shit like that. I can't believe I've been talking about that much cinematography in these dentist movies, but to be honest, it's probably some of the best things for me. And like, again, you know, with this film, it very much carries over from the first film, a lot of off kilter shit that I really love. So they do that all right. It's more the narrative. It's just disappointing. There's so many things in this film that I'm just like, why the fuck doesn't the PI die? Like, why does he just disappear? You know, there's all these stupid little things. It takes too long to get going. It's too long, but it's kind of like the same film, but just not as good. The short and long. I give it 6 out of 10. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And that is The Dentist 1 and 2.
Dentist.
Painless.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun double feature though. I mean, really. Yeah. It's just such a fucking shame that they didn't do the third one. I would have loved, like I said.
That release is still only like $13, right?
Is it really?
Why is that so much that cost? That's usually what they all cost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those Vestrons. Remember they were like super expensive at one point, and then all of a sudden they got like super cheap.
Yeah, they like cut the price in half. Like it's a really good pickup for like a double feature at that price.
I love that Clint Howard's character name in this film. What they dub him as, Mr. Toothache. That's what he's called on IMDb, as Mr. Toothache.
Mr. Toothache.
Oh, the Dentist Collection is $12 on Amazon. Damn,
yeah, there you go.
Dude, that's such a good deal. That's a fucking amazing deal for 2 Blu-rays on separate discs. And you got to remember, that's 2 discs.
Damn,
that's crazy, man.
Flip
that's a really good deal.
Shit. Damn.
Yeah, Vestron's really slowed down with the releases though. They're so far in between now.
Yeah.
Hopefully they keep going though.
What could they release? What are we looking for?
Oh, I think they've got. They
Book
definitely
of Shadows.
There's just
extended cut.
You could release.
Which one?
I want Book of Shadows, but the
Blair Witch
cut. Yeah,
Book of Shadows. Fuck.
Also, I would like to see. Might as well get Ghoulies 3 out there.
Mm-hmm.
Pinocchio's Revenge, I would enjoy.
No.
What else?
Ghoulies 3 is so bad though too.
What?
Dude, what is it? Ghoulies Go to College? Is that the one? Yeah.
Matthew Lillard.
Actually, no, that one's fun. The fourth one is terrible.
Oh, yeah, fourth one's god awful.
Oh, it's dog shit, dude. It is fuck. Oh man. Yeah, that one's bad. Yeah, Ghoulies Go to College is pretty fun. Yeah. I've still got like I've got like a UK DVD of that shit, man.
What else? Maybe like.
Yeah, what was in that famous 8-pack?
I doubt they would do Kids, but I would like it.
Kids.
Well, that got kind of a nice Australian release.
Yeah, Umbrella just put that out, but I'm surprised that Kids doesn't have a Region 1 release though.
Yeah. I don't think anybody wants to touch it. It's just kind of messy. I don't know.
And it's like the same with Bully just got one. So these Larry Clark films are getting Australian or Umbrella releases, but I wonder what's up with.
I would take a Cube trilogy as well.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Oh, The Curve, 1998. I would like that one.
No, The Curve sucks, man. And
dude, The Curve is great. It's like a great
Cube
90s
2 and 3. Oh my god, dude, those are
3 is not even bad.
Oh, all I can remember is the effects in those movies being terrible. But
King Cobra 99. That's actually a really fun one.
Okay, dude, now you're just being dumb.
Dude, have you seen it? It's great.
I'm just fucking with you. I haven't seen that.
It's actually like it's actually like a pretty.
I'm just being a Corbin Bernstein dink right now. You know,
it's actually like a pretty solid. Like it has practical effects. It's like
really. Was it sci-fi?
Yeah. Yeah, but it was done before like all the movies turned to shit. It was like think of like the Ticks Mosquito era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about like here's one for you. Sometimes they come back again and for more.
Oh my!
That's
God.
the third one.
Second and third.
Oh, second and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I get you. Oh, Jesus.
I'm not even a big fan of the first one.
No, the first one's
I love
like
the first one.
all right.
I think the story's better than the movie.
The story's way better, but like that's actually a really good story.
It's not even. The story is not way better.
Yeah,
you guys are tripping.
I think it's better.
The story is literally like almost the same.
I think it's in terms of like when you read the story, because like what you envisioned is just better. I don't know. The movie was disappointing to me.
It's
like
hard for movies to compete with like your own
imagination is always better. It's always better.
Not always, but
yeah. Well, yours is probably terrible because you suck.
Well, it's not my imagination. It's Stephen King's imagination.
No, but when you're reading something and you haven't visually seen it adapted, you have an idea of what it is in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like I remember I read Pet Sematary. Like, I mean, I read books and saw them adaptations after and been like, holy shit, that's totally not what I visioned at all. Like, just like to the point where I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. Like I was like, my mind was way better than that. So
I think sometimes when I read the books, like the adaptation is pretty close to what I imagine, which makes me believe that the person who did the movie really understood the book.
Yeah, I mean, there's not so many faithful adaptations though, man. People always go off script though.
You have to. It's a different medium.
But it's easier too, though, because sometimes when you're reading something, you're like, man, this would be so hard and expensive to adapt. You have to fucking change the shit up, man. That's usually what happens because you just can't fucking do it. You just can't do it. That's why reading can be so elevated to the point where you're like, man, you know, they couldn't even adapt this. Then you come up with your own visions and it's like, oh, that's amazing. Super cool. Like I can still picture all the Fear Street books that I read back in the day, like what they were going to look like and shit.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Okay, so I think that the listeners are probably like, where the hell's Tombs of the Blind Dead? That's what this is supposed to be. Well, we ended up having like hockey pretty much like ruin our lives a little bit for prepping, so we decided to do 2 films this week. But we are actually going to postpone that Tombs of the Blind Dead show for a little while, just because we want to prep for 36 because we've also slacked on that. So next week we will be off most likely, and then the week after will be the season finale besides we might come back for some summer shows this year. So it'll be 1936 top 10. And then also on that show, we'll do the results to the contest for the Hidden Gem show as well.
Nice.
Yeah, we got some pretty interesting responses to that. Surprised.
Yeah. Sam watched all of them.
Yeah, he did.
And reviewed all of them. And he gave them all like high scores.
Yeah,
too.
like he liked every one of them, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Caleb did a whole video where he basically shit on Tyler for a half hour, which was great.
Which was funny as hell to all of us.
I love
like,
that.
Well, he's a pretentious motherfucker, but like, yeah, it was like a 30-minute video. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah. That was cool. And he did it without even being eligible for the contest. He's like, I know I'm not eligible, but I still want to do the video, which is awesome.
I think I'm going to try and I think I'm going to send him something just because I mean, he watched all those movies. He made the effort of doing like a 30-minute video and shit. I'll fork over the fucking funds and I'll send him something. I just don't. The problem is with sending him, I just don't want to send him something that he has, kind of thing. So maybe I'll just talk to him and
I mean, I don't know. Could you order something from Umbrella and just ship it to his house in Australia,
Probably.
I don't see why not.
Because that might be a more affordable way to do it. Then you're not paying like
well, now he's going to be the proud owner of kids
and Bully. Okay, so I gotta go.
Okay, I guess that's a wrap. Carly, Mason, thanks for coming back on the show. Guys were wonderful.
Do you have anything to shout out or anything, guys?
Nope.
No.
All right.
No. Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So I guess the next show is going to be the what we just said, top 10 of 1936. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks for that, and we're out of here. Deuces.
That's all, folks.